order blocking federal officials from destroying evidence.
Well, President Trump's Board of Peace attempts to move the next phase of the Gaza ceasefire. Israel's on the hunt for the remains of the last dead hostage still there.
Police officer Ran Gavili, the 24-year-old, was killed defending a kibbutz during the massacre by Hamas on October 7th, 2023. According to an Israeli military official, there are several intelligence leads that they hope will help them locate Gavili.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Super Bowl 60 is set. The Seahawks versus the Patriots. Seattle won the NFC Championship, beating the LA Rams 31-27. New England won the AFC title.
In Denver, the Patriots beat the Broncos 10-7 in blizzard conditions. Only 3 points scored in the second half once the snow rolled in. That was enough for New England to advance to a record 12th Super Bowl. They'll try to win their 7th championship in a rematch of Super Bowl 49, won by New England.
That's Tim McMaster. America's listening to Fox News.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Ben Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G coverage. What? Franklin wasn't even a president. Hang on to those Benjamins. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, to switch to an American wireless company that's truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. This hour is presented by Subaru of Gwinnett. You'll love the difference. The Morning Xtra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Tug and Los until 10 on Extra 106.3. Glad that you're here. Appreciate you getting up early with us if you're out and about, heading into the office. In
the unlikely event.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, because I came in, the roads are completely clear. 285, 400, all of Cobb Parkway, man, I didn't even see a speck of ice. So you're fortunate if you're able to get out of your neighborhood. And I know in the northern suburbs, some of that can be really, really difficult.
We have not had, and we have like a neighborhood that moves around pretty good.
Yeah.
In the last 48 hours, I haven't seen one car. We actually had 2 kids that were ice skating on the street, and as a no joke. And so the other funny part was even this morning, because I was kind of curious, because we got down into the low 20s last night, and it rained. And so I was like, okay, what did it do? Man, that sheet is still just out there. Yeah. So the northern suburbs, I get it. It's completely different.
Yeah. Coming, the only ice, and we're in in Alpharetta. The only ice I had was on the front steps. That was it. That was the biggest issue that I had, because I went out early this morning. I wanted to see. I was like, all right, am I going to work from home today? Am I coming in? What is the deal? And there wasn't any ice on our road, but I'm with you on that. I didn't see one car. That I know of all day on Sunday. All day. I didn't see one car through the neighborhood.
Oh, see, we were out driving. We wanted to go to the gas station, get a drink.
Yeah,
and roads were fine. It was raining. It was wet, but there were a couple cars, but it was nothing crazy. Yeah, there was not a lot. I ran into the folks there with the Georgia DOT, making sure that Georgia 400 southbound was nice and treated. And so, yeah. If you can get out of your neighborhood, at least if you're going 400, 285, Cobb Parkway area, you're in pretty good shape. I would imagine the back roads probably a little more crazy than the main highways.
I keep hearing that, and especially just kind of depends on where. Like at one point yesterday, we had 400 and 285 they had to shut down because it's the overpasses, and that's where they were having some issues there with some accidents. But if you're basically... from everything I understand, if you're, into the north area of Fulton, into the city, I don't think you're going to have a problem.
Yeah,
it's going to be cold,
right.
but at least the streets have been treated.
Dude, if you're in Gainesville and North Forsyth like you, Los,
it's different.
Things are very, very
different.
Yeah, especially with the back roads, like you're saying, because there's nobody on them. There's nobody that are passing it, and I don't know that GDOT has had the time to. It's only been a day to get through the. The roads that aren't major, the highways.
I mean, I'm 3 miles, maybe a little bit over to 400, and that would be the area that I'd be concerned about.
Yeah, for sure.
Just trying to get to 400.
That's right.
What's nutty right now.
Yeah, for sure. I love the fact you had people ice skating in the street.
2 people, they were ice skating. The video went all over, the neighborhood Facebook page. Sure enough, 2 people, 2 kids ice skating on the street.
That means you have to have ice skates. I mean, who
has ice skates?
Has ice skates in Atlanta, Georgia?
I'll tell you what. The people in my neighborhood, just driving around like in the summertime, there's a lot of hockey nets in driveways.
Okay,
right. Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe, that's where they're trying to get the new hockey team out is North Georgia,
maybe
right up in that area.
Something they got. It's so popular they got rid of the cooler. I'm not sure I'm buying that hockey is where it's at, but otherwise, that's kind of the weather. We'll keep you posted as we know more, because I know. Out and about that folks you especially way north like where Los is, you want to take it easy, may want to decide to stay home, work from home if you have that ability. So it was a busy weekend. If you weren't sitting in your house due to snow and ice, the people in Minneapolis, they were acting up. That's the first thing you need to know.
They want you awake, informed, and ready to fight for the facts of the day in the land of the free. Now your sleepyhead nature means you wake up calm. A mighty dose of reality coming in strong. Soon as the sun cracks the horizon so high, man, we got the story, no time for a lie.
That's right. And we'll start here because Los, it's another tragic and unnecessary death, and I couldn't help but keep thinking about what you said a couple weeks ago, and you've brought it up a few more times. You know how I know you'll never die in an like jumping out of the plane, a skydiving accident, Los?
Yeah, no bungee cord accidents or skydiving accidents.
Because you ain't doing that.
Right.
It seems very straightforward. This is so easy to solve. Stop attacking the ICE officers. And the crazy thing is, and we'll get deeper into it a little bit later, there's a network of people that they're running this thing almost like it is a military operation, and it's even coming from inside of the governor's the governor's house, the governor's office.
Yeah, to consider this, and this is the way I've heard it put from people who've really looked into it now, you have parallel intelligence.
Yep.
And that is essentially what you have in this country right now is an insurgency in a similar way that we saw it during the years that we had the war on terror. And that insurgency is coordinating with these people. So, for instance, why did you have Renee Good know where to be and to go follow around ICE agents? Well, she was part of this intelligence. In this case, if you were to tell me, hey, Tug, let's go find some members of ICE working, it's like, you and I wouldn't know what to do.
No.
But if you're in the state of Minnesota and the governor's mansion and the lieutenant governor's office are coordinating with these people, then that's how people like Alex Pretty know where to be at. I know I'm supposed to be sad about it and call it a tragedy and everything else. At some point, you just have to say, stupid people are doing stupid things in the interest of communism.
Yeah.
And it's one less communist. I watched football yesterday and thought to myself, there's one less communist domestic terrorist that's here watching football around me.
Yeah.
That's what's going on.
Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan is who Los is referring to. She's an admin on the Signal chat. So the protests, the state of Minnesota is involved with that insurgency that Los is talking about. It is coming from the actual state government. You heard Barack Obama, I think it was yesterday, when he was like, well, the federal government needs to work with the state government on this. This is tragic. And I do believe the shooting is tragic. I hate it, man. The loss of life kills me. It bothers me to my soul. But at the same time, Barack Obama knows that the The state of Minnesota is not going to cooperate. What does he mean, cooperate with the state? The state ain't going to cooperate with the federal government. He knows that.
Again, it's an insurgency in the interest of, will the federal government back down?
That's right. That's what they're daring them.
Imagine if we were talking about a province in Afghanistan. Hey, do they keep mortaring the troops so the troops leave the province? Like that is what is going on here. This is much bigger, and the media tries to turn it into, Renee Good was just dropping off a kid, and she was heading back home. Wrong place, wrong time. Alex Pretty, he was just a casual observer. Yeah. He was a constitutional observer. He was at a protest. No, he wasn't. He was part of this entire network, the Signal Chat network, and I'll be scanning all the channels, Tug. I don't think we're going to hear one peep. Maybe we hear about it on Fox News. I don't think we're going to hear one peep about how the governor's mansion, the lieutenant governor, they were checking license plates in real time.
They have
the state.
They have a database of license plates, of names, of makes of vehicles. And they have a network set up that's at least 30 minutes outside of town so they can track people coming into town. This is well organized. This is well funded. You're right about that, Los, when you say they're looking to see if the federal government will back down. And I was disappointed in James Comer. James Comer, a lot of times, does a lot of great things, and that maybe not like James Comer. I think he's wrong on this issue when he says the federal government should back out of Minnesota. Because that's exactly what the leftists want. And that's going to embolden the leftists, not only in Minneapolis, but in New York City, in L.A., in San Diego, in Atlanta, in Dallas, and everywhere. If they back off, if they back down, it will embolden them. And think about what it does for Antifa. Antifa says, we got to leg up. Let's start putting the pressure on even harder because they are going to back down.
This is the Battle of Minneapolis. This was not me trying to blow this up into some sort of it's just hyperbole and it's something to sell or people to check out a radio show. This is one of the flashpoints of the battle for the soul of the country, people.
That's right.
That is how big of a deal it is. And to know, Tug, for the longest time, the media wants to tell you about, there are these protesters, and they're there with their whistles, and they blow their whistles when they locate ice.
A Sig Sawyer's not a whistle.
No. What we're talking about is a network of people, just as you said, and just as we saw from a guy like James O'Keefe, the noted journalist. James O'Keefe started receiving text messages once they had zeroed in on his car, telling him, you have 1 hour to get out of town or we're going to kill you.
No, we're not coming after you. We're not going to damage your vehicle. We are going to kill you. That is the brutality of the people that you're dealing with. That is what they are sending to independent journalists because they don't want the truth out. They know the mainstream media is going to feed you crap. They're going to feed you crap every day, and most people are going to listen to it and believe it. James O'Keefe trying to show you the reality of what's happening, and they said, we will murder you in cold blood.
And it looked nuts because that was Friday. And we're looking at this going like, how did they get a hold of his vehicle? Did somebody talk? Did somebody notice him? He talked about losing tails. He talked about being able to move from one vehicle to the next. This is so coordinated. This is crazy to know. The question's always, why does ICE wear masks? Well, you're operating in essentially a foreign country that's trying to kill you.
That's right. Yeah. And the crazy thing is, it's not Afghanistan. It's freaking Minneapolis.
Yes.
It's a freaking a major city in the United States, and it's been infiltrated from the state government all the way to the street communist by leftists, by communists. They see this as their opportunity. This is the foothold that they've been waiting on since the USSR fell. How do we implement communism and socialism in the United States of America? This is our shot. That's the way they see it. They don't care about you. They don't care about your family. They don't care about Renee Good. They don't care about Alex Pretty. They don't care about any of those people. Those are casualties that they're okay with taking.
Yes. Those are the street communists that we always talk about. And every single time, the only bummer they have right now, they don't have anybody who's a non-white liberal.
Yeah.
every single time.
That's because those are the only people coming out there.
Right. They're like, oh, man, we lost another one. All right, who's the next one?
Next up.
Who wants to cause some crap?
That's right.
And again, these are people that are coordinated. These two people weren't at the wrong place at the wrong time. So forgive me if I even have gotten past the whole idea of like, hey, that's a tragedy. No, they're in a fight. This is their war. This is their battle. Renee Good, you showed up to the battlefield and you brought a car. All right, he had a gun. Your head got turned into a canoe. I'm sorry, too bad. Alex Pretty, the wild part about that is not only did you bring a gun, and I don't even care that you brought a gun.
It's not a Second Amendment issue.
No, and that's the funny part. The left tries to turn it into, what do you mean you can't bring a gun? No, but there is a level of conduct that you must have when it comes to being a concealed carry license holder, none of which he was abiding by in terms of having any sort of paperwork having an ID.
Didn't.
And not only, that's the other part. And then the only difference in what occurred, he just couldn't get to the gun fast enough versus professionals.
That's right. Dude snatched it out of the holster, and then he goes back and tries to, what looks like, get a gun. Turns out it was magazines back there. But he knew exactly what he was doing.
He knew where it was. He was going for it.
Exactly right, man.
He didn't know he'd been disarmed yet.
And the crazy thing is, when you bring up the paperwork, right? He didn't have his concealed carry, which he was legally, he had. You're supposed to carry that with you, and you're supposed to have your license with you. He didn't have either. And then he attacked a federal officer, which is a felony. So then you add to it, you're committing a felony and you're an armed. You're armed, which is a double no. That's a double whammy. That's a double negative. You get charged with both of those crimes now. Dude had no idea what he was doing.
And that's the other part about this. The amount of, because I feel like we're having to go right back to a conversation from 2 weeks ago. Well, why did they have to shoot him as many times they did? Because you shoot him until the threat is done.
That's exactly right.
And that is Graham versus Connor. We can go through every single. How is that officer? How is that agent hasn't been arrested? Because it's a justified shoot.
That's
because you shouldn't have brought a gun and then caused an incident to occur and go for your gun, which you just didn't know that you'd already been removed of. And by the way, because police and law enforcement, because they are law enforcement, don't have to act with 20/20 hindsight. Just because one happens to know they got a hold of the gun doesn't mean that the other 4 or 5 do know that as well.
Yeah, how would they? All they heard was gun. And when here's the other thing that never gets brought up. These officers know they have a target on their back. When you're being hunted down by crazy leftist communists, you will act in a different way. You're going to be more frightened. You're going to be more likely to defend yourself because you feel the pressure of those crazy people coming at you. And the other thing about Alex Pretty, his parents sat him down. They even said this. They admitted to this. We sat him down. We said, if you're going out there, do not engage and do not take your handgun. He confirmed to his parents that he wasn't going to do either one of them. And he did both. And look where it ended up.
We're going to find out that there's a lot of issues going on there. I know right now they're trying to paint him as he's just the sweet male nurse who worked for the VA.
Right.
We're going to find out a lot of weird stuff about that guy. If his parents, who reportedly live in Colorado, from Colorado knew that something had gone on with him mentally, that they were worried about him being involved in this stuff, it's because they're his parents and they knew he was mentally not right.
Dude, what a mess. What a mess. And it was so sickening to see the way people treated it over the weekend. Absolutely. It's just the worst. And we cannot back down. You cannot back down. James Comer is so wrong about that. You cannot back down. Because if you do nothing more than embolden the communist, the animals that are in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and maybe even across the state. When we continue on Extra 106.3, Mike Collins, guy that's running for Senate and currently is a U.S. representative. Some of the areas around him got hit pretty good with snow and ice. We will discuss all the craziness going on in the world next on Extra 106.3.
If you listen to Extra, share it with a friend. It's how we grow and how we can reach everyone in the Atlanta community that believes in the American way of life. If you value the station, help us grow by telling someone about the Extra 106.3 app.
This Valentine's Day, give a gift that says forever and a night out that says I thought of everything. Hi, I'm Jaron Solomon, and right now at Solomon Brothers, when you spend $9.99 or more, dinner at Michelin recommended Tiny Lou's is on us. Tiny Lou's is a chic French-American brasserie serving seasonally inspired French favorites complemented by a French-focused wine list. It's intimate, retro chic, and the perfect setting for romance. So whether it's diamond studs, trendy layered necklaces, or the bracelet she's been hinting at, you're not just giving a gift. You're creating the whole evening. One stop, one perfect surprise. At Solomon Brothers, we don't just help you get Valentine's Day right. We help you earn credit for planning the whole thing in advance. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, Buckhead, Alpharetta, and Sharpsburg, helping Atlanta say I do and I love you since 1982.
Ain't nothing beats the cozy comfort of a warm fireplace on a cool Georgia night. Tug here for Chimney Solutions. But before you light that fire, make sure the chimney's clean, safe, and ready with my friends at Chimney Solutions. Did you know that a dirty and damaged chimney could lead to dangerous carbon monoxide leaks or even chimney fires? Don't take that chance. Chimney Solutions certified technicians use state-of-the-art equipment to ensure your home and family are protected. Chimney Solutions, keeping Georgia homes safe, warm, and beautiful for over 25 years.
This month and every month, we remember the more than 67 million innocent babies whose blood has been shed through abortion in our nation. Their absence cries out. The weight of that loss should move every one of us to rescue more babies, and you can. Preborn's network of clinics is on the front lines every single day, rescuing babies from death and mothers from despair. Over 400,000 babies have already been saved through the hope, compassion, and truth that these clinics bring. And it starts with a holy moment, a mom meeting her baby on an ultrasound. When she sees that child and hears that tiny heartbeat, the chance of life doubles. Please help Tanya and I save the most vulnerable of all lives with a donation to Preborn. One ultrasound is $28. $140 will help rescue 5 babies, and any amount you give will save lives, and all gifts are tax deductible. Give now. Dial pound 250, say the keyword baby. That's pound 250 keyword baby, or go to preborn.com/Beck. That's preborn.com/Beck, sponsored by Preborn.
This is House Call for Health. While Mary Poppins said a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, researchers are sharing how a tablespoon of vinegar can help advance health and wellness goals as we dive deeper into 2026. Dr. Carol Johnston with the Arizona State University College of Health Solutions says you can start seeing the health benefits of vinegar over time by drinking 1 tablespoon twice a day. The acetic acid in vinegars can offer important health perks. Dr. Johnston saying it enters the bloodstream. The acetate also gets into the brain and into muscle, and then mood states and depression can be improved. Researchers found ingesting vinegar can also help moderate blood sugar levels. Dr. Johnston notes all types of vinegars can work because they all contain acetic acid, and while taking a shot of vinegar might seem like the quickest way to gulp it down, experts say you can dilute a tablespoon of vinegar in a cup of water and drink it during meals. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Democracy 2026.
President Trump is working to unseat incumbent Republican Senator Bill Cassidy. The president posted that Louisiana Congresswoman Julia Letlow has his, quote, complete and total endorsement, run, Julia, run, unquote. Letlow posted she was honored to have the Trump endorsement. Senator Cassidy has repeatedly voted for the Trump agenda, including to confirm Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., whose decisions he has now criticized. In 2021, he voted to convict the president in his second impeachment. Cassidy says he is confident he'll beat Letlow. In Texas, Senator John Cornyn is running for re-election in a Republican primary without any presidential endorsement.
I've been supportive of President Trump. I have a good relationship with him. But in terms of any endorsement or the like, that's on his timeline. In the meantime, we're prepared to run and win on March the 3rd, and we're ready for a potential runoff on May the 26th.
Democrats would need to pick up 4 seats to recapture control of the Senate. Rich Edson, Fox News.
This is House Call for Health. A new study reveals how college students who frequently play video games may be less healthy than those who don't. The study, conducted by Curtin University, found that university students who spent more than 10 hours a week playing video games had noticeably worse health issues compared to those who spent less than 5 hours playing per week. The study found students who played more than 10 hours a week were more likely to be overweight, have poor eating habits, and low-quality sleep. Though it's a relatively small study, to obtain these results, researchers examined 317 undergraduate students with 3 groups: the under 5 hours of gaming a week, the moderate users at 6 to 10 hours, and the higher users who play more than 10 hours a week. Based on their findings, experts recommend parents and universities hold more discussions about how to balance gaming and healthy habits. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, January 26th, and here are your headlines. Georgia power crews are still working to restore electricity after the weekend ice storm knocked out power to thousands of customers across North and Metro Georgia. Crews are dealing with icy roads, fallen trees, downed power lines, with officials urging patience as conditions remain dangerous. The powerful ice storm that impacted Atlanta this weekend is still having effects, bringing hazardous travel conditions, school and event cancellations, and flight delays. Officials urge drivers to stay off the roads as freezing temperatures and icy conditions persist. Cherokee, Cobb, DeKalb, and Fulton were all listed as counties there is still an ice warning in effect in. And finally, a University of Georgia grad is headed back to the Super Bowl as Mike McDonald leads the Seattle Seahawks there in just his second season as head coach. McDonald coached at Cedar Shoals High School while earning his finance degree from UGA's Terry College of Business. He went on to serve as a graduate assistant and defensive quality control coach under Mark Richt from 2010 to 2014. Today's weather is a chilly one with a high of 33 and a low of 13. With your Extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
Tug and Los, happy that you're here with us on Extra 106.3, whether you're listening at 106.3 FM, 12:30 a.m. on the app or streaming YouTube channel. Good morning. I know people are up and at 'em doing it that way. Pleasure to have Mike Collins, U.S. Representative, representing Georgia's 10th District, also running for U.S. Senate, joining us on the Morning Extra. Mike, how are you?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. It's Friday.
Yes, sir. Dude, I love it. That's the first thing I think about when I wake up on a Friday morning, too. Glad you feel
down till Friday morning, so
yes, sir.
I'm still good.
Yes, sir. Hey, wanted to ask you, from your position as U.S. Representative in the 10th District, a lot of your district is under, a severe weather warning, National Weather Service, and Brian Kemp has made the proclamation about the weather. Your point of view and your seat, how do you help the folks in your district?
Yeah, we just need to make sure that we keep the information flowing to our constituents, and make sure that they understand. Hey, it's always better to err on the side of caution than it is anything else. But just make sure that they're following GEMA and staying tuned into the news this is probably the only time you'll ever hear me say anything like I don't want ice in Georgia.
Yeah.
That's
right.
pretty good.
That's right.
Pretty good. Mike Collins is our guest right here on the Morning Extra, obviously running for the Senate here in the state of Georgia and a representative over in Georgia 10th. I wanted to ask you about that scenario of Brian Kemp having already decided to declare this a state of emergency, and so that is supposed to preempt and basically give Georgia an access to federal dollars. How does that system work to where when we do have some of these affected areas, does that mean that it's about cleanup? Is it about getting energy crews out to there earlier? How does that affect the state of Georgia from a federal perspective?
It's about all of the above. It's about all of the above, because when you have an emergency like this, or you have a situation like this and GEMA comes in, it's going to set up for the FEMA side of it. And, you don't have to look back but just Hurricane Helene. I know it's a different type of disaster, but, how it affects even our farmers out there and how it just devastated throughout our communities. And the problem was, and you still have this problem, is that we had NOAA who was not designating some of these areas in the state of Georgia. You could clearly see the devastation, but they weren't designating it as an emergency and that there wasn't actually any damage. And so we need to make sure that we follow the exact steps. We follow it in order. We make sure that our I's are dotted, T's are crossed. So there's a time comes that we have to help folks. And that's part of the federal government. We have to make sure that we help people in need and make sure that they have everything available for them and not come up with some excuse because we're a red state or whatever.
Yeah, because we feel like we've seen that and heard that before out of the federal government.
We've seen it.
Yeah, we have.
Still dealing with it.
Yeah, no question.
You got folks still doing it right now.
Yeah. It's awful. It's unbelievable. And hopefully, with your guidance, we can get some of that taken care of. Now talking about some of the fraud that we're seeing across the country. Donald Trump had said from Davos that he thinks there is a big portion of our national debt that is in fraud. You've seen upwards. I've heard from $1 billion to $8 billion to $18 billion and even $19 billion in Minneapolis alone. Can you imagine what it is in all 50 states? How do we prevent it? How do we root it out here in Georgia? Because the last thing I want to do is pay my taxes and then it go and be wasted like that.
Oh, amen, brother. I agree with you 100%. And, I think that just the mere fact that Elon put a spotlight and helped start this progression of rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse just inside the federal government. But let's take a look at Minnesota. Yeah, it's rampant. Look at Minnesota. You cannot tell me that this is not allowed. Somebody knows about it. Somebody turned a blind eye, was in on it. This just doesn't happen, and that's why I'm co-sponsoring the Scam Act. You commit fraud against American taxpayers, or you affiliate with a terrorist organization, or commit some felony or espionage, and you're not going to meet requirements to be a U.S. citizen anyway. It's time for you to go back home and send them back home and prosecute those that we're arresting and putting in jail. Make sure they pay for their crimes. But, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. I think once you get out there, you're going to see that they're going to be able to root out more and more of this. And we just need to keep pushing wherever it takes you.
Georgia Representative Mike Collins joins us right here on the Morning Extra, also running for Senate seat right here in the state of Georgia. I believe that when you have a robust economy, that's always going to help you in an election year. And to look at what some of the data has been, Q3 GDP revised up to 4.4. Looks like we might get into the fives when it comes to Q4 with what the Atlanta Fed is saying. How much easier, as somebody with your business background, is it to talk to those residents of the state of Georgia and say, here's what's actually happening, here's the growth that's going on, and this is what you're voting for to continue this and to enable this to happen?
I think that's a lot of why we're still leading in the polls. It's because I've taken this 30 years of being beat on in the trucking industry to Congress and went up there with a business mentality of getting regulations off our backs, making sure that taxes are low, and making sure that they have the ability, because the next generation just doesn't have the opportunities that I had. So it makes it easy for when I'm out there talking to people, because a lot of what we're doing, and I'm surprised y'all didn't all faint on me this morning when we got all the appropriation bills done. Lord help. People say we never do that again. But that's the big things that America should focus on. But some of the things like my Permit Act that's sitting over in the Senate right now, that the Senate needs to take up and get out, that's going to do things behind the scenes that's going to set up immediately just a robust economy, from whether it's building houses, roads, bridges, or even water treatment facilities, so that these small rural communities can participate in the economic boom that is taking off right now. And that's where I tell people there's so many different pieces of the puzzle that we're putting back on the board at one time. You can't just put one piece on there and then say we're done. That starts at leadership, man. It starts right up there with President Trump and what his vision and how he understands you got to run this place like a business. And then when you filter that out with people that are able to help push legislation that understand that same concept, man, we'll get this place going. It's going to go. This is good. This time next year, I'll be excited to talk to y'all and just see how well this place is taking off.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Another thing Donald Trump's doing, and this is more kind of it's national too, but locally it affects people like you in the trucking business, because Donald Trump's doing his best to take people that don't have a CDL license or a proper one, that can't speak English, can't read English, and get them off the road. And that's actually showing dividends already for natural-born American citizens that are truck drivers. That's a good thing, too, because that helps everybody.
Yeah, it does. And the thing is, that's just one example of where foreign labor has been killing the young people, their opportunities in this country. I know trucking, and yes, our trucking accident rates went up 75% year over year, and it was all due to illegal aliens out there driving trucks that couldn't read and speak English. I've been screaming about that for years. But now, but think about it. You've got great paying jobs out there. Carpentry work, roofing. It doesn't matter. That's taking the jobs away from American citizens, people that will do the job. But when you pay foreigners and you don't have to pay taxes and you pay them cash or whatever it is, that's what's got to stop. Because the young people out here are at such a disadvantage. They can't afford homes. They can't. It's tough on them to start a family. And all they want is the same opportunity that the rest of us had. And so that's part of a big part. And even if you don't say if it's a carpenter or whatever, just say, look at how much foreign labor is being brought in on the H1s.
Yeah, the H-1B visas. With
people with technical or expertise of college. Look how many people we're letting from China come in and to places like Georgia Tech or Georgia, that should be going to American citizens and letting them learn about quantum AI. That's where we've got to focus. That's where America First comes in. That's what it means to be America First. That's what President Trump was talking about in Davos. We're back. I have no problem. I'll never be ashamed to say we are the biggest and baddest on the block.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to lead.
Yes, sir.
Mike Collins is our guest right here on the Morning Extra, and I'm so glad that you're talking about the challenges for young people, because I believe this is one of the great tragedies of losing Charlie Kirk, who was such an advocate for what was going on with them, and how globalization has largely left young people in this country behind. It's not so much that, and the argument's always been, well, hey, young people, stop buying coffee every morning. No, it goes a lot further than that. How much has that message really been resonating with young people, that a guy like Mike Collins, made his money and made his growth in the world, in the trucking industry, is saying, I understand what you're going through, and I'm trying to help fix that for you?
You know what? It's been amazing. I've had the opportunity. I've been going out to Arizona since, I think, 21. And spoke to them this past December in Arizona. But you actually see a sea change in these young people that are out there. You see this turn back towards more of faith and family and freedom and just core American values. And that's fantastic. But on the flip side of the coin, we've got to fix what was taken away from them from an economic standpoint or from a federal government standpoint. Our federal government has been on the bench for decades. That's what's gotten us into this situation. This socialistic movement and push to where, government is the end-all, be-all. You got a question? Ask the federal government. And instead, what Charlie Kirk and organizations like that do are saying, no, you don't look to government. Take your faith, look towards God. And we have got to back off from this government be-all, end-all thing that we've got out there. And a lot of that's set up through just what I was talking about, through regulations that have been imposed, or whether, you don't have community banks anymore. It's hard to go for these young people to even go get a loan to start a business because there's so many forms you have to fill out. Dodd-Frank did a lot of damage to this country.
I'll tell you.
There's a lot of stuff out there, and that's where I say we're pushing in so many different directions at one time, and it is incredible when you've got the right person up there that is driving the truck.
Yes, sir. Absolutely right. As we talked to Mike Collins, Georgia 10, and running for Senate here in the state of Georgia. Let's get to that polling, because I know you believe in the exceptionalism of this country, as do I, as did Donald Trump, and he has put it on display in Davos. Man, he rubbed their nose in it, and I loved every second of it. It's exactly what I voted for, and it's exactly what I want to see. But being that type of person, knowing that you feel the same way, you're also leading in the polls by a 2-1 margin when it comes to the primaries.
We have been, and I just, I can't thank people enough that have called in, got on board. When you organize, and you want to organize 159 counties, at least with one county chair, you realize we've got over 800. And we still have people calling, hey, throw my name on the list. And I think it's because they always see, I've always looked and tried to run from, no matter where I sit in the polls, like I'm behind. And it's because I just love to work. And we push that work mentality. And it's just like getting up now. I didn't get home till after midnight, but that's okay. Man, today's another day. We like to charge every day wide open. I surround myself with a team that does that. They love it as much as I do. We want to see small businesses grow. I want to see young people have the affordability that I had when I was their age. We have the opportunity to do that, and it's just a great grassroots campaign that's going on out there. People want to change. And when they look at the one-term senator that we have and the one-term congressman that you have, and you just look at, you don't have to look any further than what's your track record.
Yeah.
What have you been able to accomplish? And it's night and day. 0 for John Ossoff. 2 bills passed and signed into law by Mike Collins.
That's what we're looking for. I think Georgians and the American public is looking for those exact things, and I think they see it with Donald Trump. I'm very, and I've said it, maybe I should be more cautiously optimistic, but I've said I'm very optimistic about the midterms. The choices are very clear. What the Democrats want to do, what they've done, and what they want to do.
Keep rioting, Minnesota.
That's
Keep
right,
doing
absolutely.
all that stuff everywhere.
Because all it does is tell and really delineate the difference between the Republicans and the Democrats.
It does, and the thing in this case now, we've got a U.S. senator. The majority of his money is coming from California and New York.
Right. Out of state. It's exactly right.
And you don't think that there's not going to be. This is the time right now that you take out the incumbent the first time around, because if you don't, it's going to get harder and harder. And you don't think they're not going to call that note due?
Yes, sir, they are. They're going to ask for something. Mike, how do people find out more about your campaign, about you?
Look us up at MikeCollinsGA.com. You can look at Mike Collins GA across all the social media platforms out there. Like I said, we've got a great team that keep pumping out the info on what we're doing, where we're at. We'd love to have you help. Man, you come check us out, come see us. Let us know if there's something you want us to do or see or talk about, and we'll be glad to do it.
Yes, sir.
At the end of the day, we need to make sure that we win this seat. We put a Republican in this seat, and we take our state.
Yes, sir. Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. And wishing you the best of luck. And we're going to be watching. We're going to be keeping up. And you're always welcome back, Mike. Thank you. Tug and Los on Extra 106.3. When we continue, I feel bad for Democrats, and I saw a bunch of them on social media this weekend, who don't know what's happened to their party and what their party has become. We'll do an extra flashback to highlight that even people in the Democrat Party don't realize it. Not just the Democrat supporters in your neighborhoods. 6 o'clock hour brought to you by Subaru of Gwinnett on Extra 106.3.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, January 26th. From the NFL, the Super Bowl is now set as the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks will match up in nearly 2 weeks. The Patriots beat the Broncos in Denver 10-7 to take the AFC crown in a driving blizzard. The Seahawks, they outlasted the Rams in Seattle 31-27, including a fourth quarter goal line stand to win the NFC Championship. From the NBA, the Atlanta Hawks are in action today as the game time for tonight's matchup with the visiting Indiana Pacers has been moved up due to ice storms and inclement weather in the area. The new tip-off time is this afternoon and is set for 1:30. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
I know you've probably been waiting for the right time to do some upgrades at your house. Let me tell you, now's the right time. Because if your furnace just went through what we went through, as freezing cold outside as it is and will be, it is working overtime. And if it's got some age on it, how many days does it have left? How many hours does it have left? How many minutes does it have left to keep your family warm? Central Heating and Air Conditioning, proud to announce the 29th annual Winter White Sale, lowest pricing of the year for a limited time. Everything's on sale. Heating, which is the most important right now. Cooling, which will be about 6 months from now. And a complete home performance solution. Rebates up to $2,300. You don't have to worry about hot spots and cold spots. One room's hot, the other room's cold. You don't got to worry about that anymore. They'll fix it for you at Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Chuck and his team work hard to knock out those high energy bills and get rid of that unhealthy indoor air that affects your family, especially if your family, like mine, has a member with asthma. They have 79 years of experience, and they only deal with the best. That's Carrier. So Act now. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com, 29th annual winter white sale. It won't last forever. Central Heating and Air, delivering carrier comfort for the world we share.
When it comes to luxury, performance, and cutting-edge technology, few brands do it better than Cadillac.
And there's no better place to experience Cadillac than Jim Ellis Cadillac, where buying a luxury vehicle is just as refined as the vehicle itself.
From the bold Escalade to the sleek XT5, the powerful CT5, and the electrifying new Lyriq, you'll find an impressive selection ready to go.
That means more choices, more availability, and competitive pricing, all with the transparent, no-pressure approach Jim Ellis is known for.
And with the Jim Ellis Expressway, you can start your purchase online. Value your trade, schedule a test drive, even complete paperwork from home.
It's luxury car buying made simple and convenient on your terms. Or shop in person and enjoy a professional, welcoming dealership experience that puts you first.
To get started, visit JimEllisCadillac.com or stop by the Jim Ellis Cadillac dealership on Peachtree Boulevard, just inside the perimeter.
Jim Ellis Cadillac, where you can always expect the best.
Thousands of veterans across Georgia are missing out on the benefits they've earned through their service. The Warrior Alliance is changing that by connecting veterans and their families to life-changing resources and support. Tune into the Warrior Alliance Network, our podcast and radio show dedicated to helping veterans succeed after service. Join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. on 106.3 to hear inspiring veteran stories, discover free programs, and learn about career opportunities available to you. Subscribe to the Warrior Alliance YouTube channel today.
A new year means new opportunities to secure your retirement goals. At Master Plan Retirement Consultants, we help you start fresh with holistic retirement planning to create a personalized retirement roadmap designed with you and for you. Our boutique team serves you with fiduciary care, ensuring every step moves you closer to a confident, sustainable retirement. As we all know, the best retirement asset is peace of mind. Make 2026 the year you take control with confidence. Schedule your complimentary consultation today at masterplanretire.com. Master Plan Retirement Consultants. Plan well and prosper.
Advisory services offered through Master Plan Retirement Consultants, Inc., a registered investment advisory in the state of Georgia. Insurance, tax, and commodity services offered through Fricks & Associates, Inc., DBA Master Plan Retirement Consultants. The aforementioned are affiliated companies.
Sniffles and sneezes got you down? GoodRx is here to help with big savings on commonly prescribed cold and flu meds. GoodRx is free and easy to use. GoodRx is accepted at all major pharmacies like CVS, Walmart, and Walgreens. Just search your prescription, find a coupon, then show your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx is not insurance, but it works whether you have insurance or not. If you do, GoodRx may beat your copay price. Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com to save today.
Georgia politicians, if you want to win your election, the path to victory runs through Xtra 106.3. Xtra listeners are some of the most engaged, active in their communities, and outspoken on their beliefs, especially when it comes time to vote. Tell the candidate you're voting for that if they want to win, the path to victory runs through Xtra 106.3 FM. Just email sales@xtra1063.com to get involved. That's sales@xtra1063.com.
I don't know if you'd call it passive-aggressive. I don't know what you'd call it, to be honest. You can find me at Tug Cowart. Let me know there, or call me up at 404-741-1230. This is the Morning Extra. What am I talking about? When I see the crazy lefty loonies show up in my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram timeline, I just mute it. I was like, I don't care what you have to say. Clearly, you're not paying attention, and I just don't want to hear from you. I don't want to insult you. I'm just going to mute you. That way, I don't see or hear the crazy things you have to say. Because, Los, they don't realize, these lefty loonies, they don't realize that the Democrat Party has completely morphed into something that is not recognizable by most people. I feel bad for them. And I feel bad. Let's do this extra flashback real quick.
We said all there is to say, baby, flashback. Go ahead and give it to me. Flashback.
I feel bad for those Democrats. I feel bad for people like Joe Manchin. It was just last year when he said that they better figure out, the Democrat Party better figure out what drove him away. Does he not know what's happening in the Democrat Party? Is he not paying attention? I just want to be like, Joe, do you not see it? And I think a lot of Democrats don't realize where the party has gone. Listen to Joe Manchin.
I was a Democrat all my life. They better figure out how they lost people like me, okay? And the only thing I have said, when you quit worrying about the working person, their working conditions, you're worried more about a person that's able-bodied and capable of working that won't work versus me who will work. There's something wrong. And they lost me.
All right. Yeah, they lost you. They intentionally lost you, specifically you, Joe Manchin, as a white dude that's middle-aged working guy. We went after you. We're like, we don't want them anymore. Little did they know they were going to lose the entirety of the working class. But it didn't matter to them because they were shifting to a Democrat socialist platform anyway. And as Bill Maher, because that happened on Bill Maher's show, Bill Maher would tell you, well, they're not even Democrat socialists anymore. They're actually communists, which we've been telling you, Los, for how long now?
So here's the problem. And we've been at this for several years explaining how this goes. The Democrats actually moved away from people that could be, because of their level of work, because they are able to work, working class, that they could be viable on their own in terms of, I don't need the government. And then by the time they lost so many numbers, then they had to figure out, well, how do we ruin the economy so that they are subservient to us?
Yeah, we'll fix it. We're going to find a way.
We're going to move away from those that can work and make a living and find people that need government assistance, that we become their Lord and Savior. Oh, damn, we don't have enough. All right, we've got to find a way to wreck things so that the common person needs us more than they ever needed us before.
And then we'll open up the borders and invite people here that will vote for us because we're going to give them free things. Everything's free. Your health care is free. Your rent's free. Everything, food, everything's free. And so that's now the coalition. And that's exactly what you're seeing in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Them protecting the people that they brought here, whether they have criminal records or not. And by crossing the border, I guess you have a criminal record. But like the man that they were going after when Alex Preddy was shot, that dude was a domestic violence. He had been arrested for domestic violence. He was a domestic violence criminal. That's who they were protecting. That's who Alex Preddy died trying to protect. I'll never understand it, Los. I've said it a million times. If you saw a law enforcement officer going into a house and you knew that the husband was beating up the wife, would you stop that? Would you interfere with that? Of course the answer is no. What is the difference? There is no difference. That's exactly what ICE was doing, going to get a domestic abuser, an illegal alien, and get them out of the country. They need to be apprehended. And that's what was happening. Alex Preddy, did he not know? Did he not care? It's probably a combination of the two.
So I know that you talk about muting them. I don't. The reason why is that oftentimes it's very indicative of where they're at mentally, and oftentimes their mental illness. One of the videos that I saw over the weekend had this guy ranting and raving on the streets of Minneapolis. He's being interviewed, and he's talking about the pedophile that's in the White House, and he's just ranting and raving. And the woman told him, well, here are these 6 people that have been apprehended in this neighborhood. They're all pedophiles. And he couldn't say anything about it because that represented power.
Yeah. It didn't matter.
Exactly.
He's fine with those pedophiles.
Right.
He's good with them.
Are they going to vote my way? Will they help us
good.
Will they help us get our representation numbers up?
Oh, good. Yeah, so let's create an entire military caliber network through the state house in Minnesota. We're going to create that to make sure that we keep those pedophiles, and then we yell and scream and holler about one that's never been accused of pedophilia in the president, one that's never been connected to. There's no evidence of that at all, but that's my politics, so I'm going to sit out here and scream like a fool.
You know, Tug, so you and I cover this the way that we do. I was telling this to my wife yesterday. I said, have you been following this stuff? And she's like, just kind of from a distance. And I explained to her how this all started with a restaurant that claimed that they had served 1,000 kids and that they hadn't, and that they were receiving federal dollars. So even though a restaurant that was not successful at all was making millions of dollars in taxpayer money, the look on her face was, really? That's what they were doing? I was like, yeah. And then the daycares. And as I started going through it, I then turned it into, this is their Rock of Gibraltar.
Yeah.
This is where they derive power. They get their money. They also plan on having future power because of bringing in these people. I was like, that's the Battle of Minneapolis.
Exactly right. Couldn't have put it better myself. When we continue, the police chief in Minneapolis said it doesn't matter if the shooting of the rioter was lawful or not. His reasoning might surprise you. Next on the Morning Extra.
The Morning Extra. Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, The Kimmer Show, Jesse Kelly, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson. The biggest lineup of conservative voices in the South are on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra 106.3 app.
Hi, it's Los, here with Tom Mitchell, the Honest Car Guy. Tom, you are changing the way people are buying their next pre-owned car or truck. How are you doing it?
We found a better way for customers to buy a car. An honest way, a very transparent way. You pay what we pay plus our honest fee. We even prove it to you by giving you a copy of the bill of sale at the end of the deal. The Honest Car Guy, you'll save an average of $5,000 to $10,000 depending on the price of the car.
Folks, if you want to save thousands on your next pre-owned car or truck, call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME-1 or honestcarguy.com.
Oh no, what is that sound?
It's our rejection detection system. It's showing that several men across Georgia are being denied intimacy by their partners due to ED.
How can this be?
Well, it's more common than you think. As men age, their bodies change. And unfortunately, once they get over 50, some things don't work like they used to.
So what do we do?
There's only one thing to do. We need to get them to Dr. Eric Deal at Total Body Therapy of Georgia. He can fix ED problems.
But how?
At Total Body Therapy of Georgia, they are experts in the P-shot, testosterone replacement, regenerative therapy, and Trimex to create an erection and more.
Hi, this is Dr. Eric Deal from Total Body Therapy of Georgia. Did you know that 50% of men over 50 struggle with some form of ED? Guys, it won't get better on its own. When it's not hard, it's really hard. But I can help you today. Call us at Total Body Therapy of Georgia at 404-777-1911 or learn more about us online at tbtofga.com.
It's January 26th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. It's National Spouses Day, which means take a little time for your mate. Whether you've been together for 5 months or 50 years, take a moment to show that special someone how much they mean to you. Also on this date, in 1784, Ben Franklin expressed his unhappiness over the eagle as the nation's symbol. Franklin wanted the turkey, which he thought was a more majestic bird. The world's biggest diamond, the Cullinan diamond, was found in South Africa in 1905. The enormous gem weighs in at more than 3,100 carats and is worth more than $400 million.
And some sad news out of the University of Georgia. The university announced that Emeritus Mike
tonight hit #1 on the music charts in 1961.
And some sad news out of the University of Georgia. President Michael F. Adams has passed away overnight after serving the university for 16 years, helping shape the university's trajectory and left a lasting mark on the institution.
1958. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's
leaving
your Fox Daily Snapshot.
a lasting mark
I'm Chad
on the
Bergman with the
institution.
Speaker's Lobby. There are few places better to go sledding during a major winter storm than Capitol Hill. An 1876 congressional rule iced out sledders, barring the Capitol grounds for play. Officials rarely enforced the ban for sledding until after 9/11. U.S. Capitol Police regulations formally prohibit sledding on Capitol Hill. There's even a section dedicated to, quote, winter activities on the Capitol grounds. And then there is Regulation 16.520. It specifically melded the fun, declaring that, quote, no person shall coast, slide, or sled at the Capitol. This became an issue after a 2015 snowstorm. Leave it to Congress to make a mountain out of Capitol Hill. Washington, D.C.'s non-voting delegate to Congress, Eleanor Holmes Norton, appealed to the Capitol Police Board to chill about the sledding ban, but it was an uphill battle. A few years later, Norton tucked a provision into a spending bill for Congress, permitting the sledding. Norton's legislative language supersedes the Capitol Police regulation. As they say, fight the powder. With the Speaker's Lobby, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
The Morning Extra. Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck, and The Kimmer Show on WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. Extra 106.3.
Still stormy in the Northeast.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island. We can expect another up to 4 inches of snow to fall.
Fox's Brian Yennis is in Boston, where they got 16 inches so far.
There are now 13 states with at least a foot of snow on the ground from this storm, from New Mexico and Colorado through Illinois and Ohio, New York, and Pennsylvania.
The snow and thick ice in many areas has left more than 800,000 homes and businesses without power this morning, a lot of them around Nashville. Scott Brooks with the Tennessee Valley Authority tells Fox.
We have crews that are out. The local power providers have crews that are out. Everybody on the ground trying to get the power restored as quickly as possible.
The storm's blamed for at least 9 deaths in several states, including Texas, where in Frisco, a teenager died while she was sledding, being pulled by a Jeep, and then the sled veered off and went into a tree. In Bangor, Maine, a private plane crashed during the storm last night. 8 people on board. No word if there are survivors.
There was a massive fire after that crash. It happened on takeoff. Visibility was about 3/4 of a mile, which is very low. Obviously snowy, windy conditions in Bangor, Maine at the time.
Fox Business Network Cheryl Kazonias. For commercial flights, there are 3,700 more canceled today. The protests rage on in Minneapolis over Saturday's shooting when a Border Patrol agent killed a protester, Alex Pretty. Democratic state officials demand an end to the immigration enforcement.
The federal government cannot trample over the prerogatives of the state.
That's State Attorney General Keith Ellison. He got a judge to order evidence be preserved in this hearing today. Deputy U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche tells Fox.
There's an ongoing investigation, as we've said, all weekend, and obviously we're not destroying evidence.
The Super Bowl is set. Here over the middle, Cooper Cup. It's in! Touchdown, Seahawks! That ended up the game-winning score for Seattle, beating the Los Angeles Rams 31-27 on Fox to win the NFC Championship. The Seahawks will play the Patriots. New England won the AFC title, beating the Broncos in a blizzard in Denver 10-7. America's listening to Fox News.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Ben Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G coverage. What? Franklin wasn't even a president. Hang on to those Benjamins. Dial pound 250, say micro, and save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, micro, to switch to an American wireless company that's truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
I wake up every morning with the Morning Extra.
And you're waking up on a chilly Monday morning, 24 degrees outside Battery, Atlanta. Here at Truist Park, home of Dickey Broadcasting Company, our sister station, The Fan, 680 and 93.7 FM, and Extra 106.3. This is the Morning Extra, Tug and Los until 10. So the northern suburbs, I know North Fulton, where Los is, got hit pretty good. And then, Gainesville, Athens, as you head east and northeast, there is some real serious snow and ice that people are dealing with. Really more ice. I say snow and ice, but really more ice.
It's all ice.
Yeah, Los had people. This is how I know it was pretty rough where Los was, or Los is. He had 2 people ice skating on the road in his neighborhood.
2 kids were ice skating on the road. It was on our Facebook community page. I went out there.
That part's actually cool.
It was actually pretty impressive. I went out just during our top of the hour break, just out of curiosity, because we put a bucket outside.
Oh, yeah, I saw you had posted that.
And I put a weight in there so it wouldn't fly away because it was so windy.
Yeah.
As of now, I think it has it's maybe a little bit over an inch of just a solid block of ice.
I know when I was warming up my truck this morning, there was probably a 1/4 inch of ice on my windshield, and I had to let my car run for about 40 minutes just to start to have the melt happen with the defroster. And then I took a scraper out there, and it took me a good 15 minutes at least to get the windshield just to the point where I could get the windshield wipers to operate because they were frozen solid down. And that was probably the worst that I had it there in Alpharetta. coming out Webbridge Road out over North Point and to get on 400, 285, then to Cobb Parkway and into the Battery here. It was easy breezy, no problems at all, no ice patches or anything like that I ran across. The wind gusts were big, though. You would feel them moving your car. Those wind gusts are pretty impressive. And that's kind of what we're dealing with. Talked to Matt Edgar, producer extraordinaire, one of the coolest guys, one of the best guys that work in our building. We love him to death. He said coming up 75 northbound from Calhoun up where he lives was easy breezy too. Just those wind. That's the one thing. The wind gusts have actually dried the road, so a lot of that that rain that was coming down in the evening yesterday didn't get the chance to freeze because the wind dried it all up. So that's kind of where we stand right now. But I would, just check with your office and figure out what y'all are going to do and figure out if you can get out of your neighborhoods. It really just depends on where you are. Some of those secondary roads are probably still going to be relatively icy, if not very icy. But GDOT, got to give them a lot of credit, man. GDOT doesn't always get a lot of credit, and sometimes they don't deserve a lot of credit. When it comes to construction around town, you're like, what in the world? Why is it taking so long? But when they went out and got all the main highways, or at least the ones that I've traveled and some of the people that I've talked to in the office, because I got behind one of those crews that put the brine down on the road this morning, up on coming down Georgia 400 southbound. I got to give them a lot of credit, man. They've done really, really good work, and I think they got some help with the actual weather making it happen. So that's good news.
Yeah, main roads are looking good.
Yeah, they've done well. They've done well. So I want to give them a pat on the back. I feel like we don't always do that.
Now come take care of my driveway.
Yeah, now that's a bit different. That's gonna be different. I don't even know if they'll do that. I think that may be on you.
I keep looking at it, going, no, not at all. I'm gonna slide right down that thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got people out there ice skating, so yeah, it's going to be a little tougher.
I did.
That's what I'm saying. The secondaries, man. I don't know about them. I don't take any of those really, because I came right out of the neighborhood and onto to Webb Bridge. But anyway, we're glad you're here. We're glad you're either safe and warm at home or headed into the office slowly. Taking it easy. You can't ever tell where some patch of ice that didn't dry up could possibly be.
And when you hit it, make sure you accelerate it.
That's right. No.
That way you get through it very quickly.
Actually, we don't endorse front office Los.
Oh, wait, that's bad information.
That's right. We're giving fake news out this morning on the Morning Extra. So let's get to something that is actually real news, the first thing you need to know.
Way out west, there's a show, the Morning Extra. The Morning Extra. Tugs of Los.
I'm telling you, I wake up singing these songs. I know you think it's BS, but I swear I did. I woke up singing this one specifically. The Morning Extra.
I did in my mind a couple times.
You can't help it, man.
This is the catchiest one.
Yes, that's right. And I am. You know me, Mr. Bold. But some of the biggest stories that you'll need to know this morning, obviously, is the weather, but we've kind of covered that. The main thing, if you do get into the office or you see on social media, will be the discussion about the Minnesota protester, Alex Preddy, 37-year-old. There's all kinds of things that surround his death. There's so much to this, so many layers. Now, the left, they want to just condemn the ICE agents, of course, because that's all part of the plan. That's the way that they feel like they win. But Los, it's not exactly as it seems. It's not as cut and dry as they would like to make it.
No, this is not the same psych op that we went through in 2020 where the world had gone crazy and so we were ready to be spoon-fed any sort of narrative, especially when, because we have a free X, we're able to look at all of this information. We're able to see all the videos ahead of time. I want to play for you because I think about 2020 where you had George Floyd, and George Floyd, who died on the streets of Minneapolis, the man was having some sort of episode related to drugs. At least that's what the first coroner had said. Also, the first coroner had pointed out that there was no damage to any part of his neck and that he was not asphyxiated. He wasn't choked to death. Yet, then that's what the next coroner that the family paid for then went to court and decided, here's what we're going to use to bury Derek Chauvin. So this ends up being Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara. Now, I want you to take a listen. He's saying this on CBS's Face the Nation. This is where, in the city of Minneapolis, in the state of Minnesota, the law actually does not have a bigger factor than your feelings. Take a listen to what he said.
Greater issue is, even if there is an investigation that ultimately proves that at the time of the shooting it was legally justified, I don't think that even matters at this point, because there is so much outrage and concern around what is happening in the city.
It doesn't matter?
Unbelievable. It does matter. It completely matters. I don't care how it spins them up. I don't care how angry they are and their fake fury that they have. It does matter. The man didn't do anything wrong. There's so many layers of what happened. The fact that he forced himself into this situation and he grabbed an officer. He shoved an officer. And this is according to Bill Shipley. He is a former DOJ prosecutor. He told the folks at Fox News, this is where I saw it, there were all kinds of illegal acts that the man did. He forced himself in. Officers then put their focus on him. He grabbed them. They wrestled. He resisted arrest. He not only resisted arrest, but he resisted arrest while armed. Again, this is not a Second Amendment issue. Did he have the right to have a firearm? Yes. Did he do it correctly? No. He didn't have the proper paperwork with him. He's supposed to have his license and his concealed carry. We
call it legal standing. He didn't have legal standing to have the firearm.
There you go. He didn't have any of that. That's exactly right. And then when you start attacking a federal officer, that's a felony. So now you're armed while committing a felony. The list just keeps growing, Los, of things that he did, injecting himself into the situation that got him shot.
So it looks like this gentleman was part of the Signal chat that we're now finding out about, this network that's been created for these activists. They're not protesters. These are activists.
Yes, they are.
That are showing up to these places because you have lookouts, you have people that are sharing. It's called parallel intelligence. ICE goes out, they start tracking them from anywhere in the city and start directing these activists on where to go. Now, they're trained on taking things right up to the limit and then stopping right there to, basically agitate. Apparently, Alex Pretty wasn't trained that well because he's dead.
That's right.
Because he didn't know.
He interfered. He intervened.
Don't show up to one of these situations with a gun. And don't put hands. You've got to imagine that when the report came out about his parents being concerned about him, telling him not to engage.
That's right. Don't do anything stupid was their exact quote.
I think they had a pretty good idea that this guy was trying to pull off, and again, I'm speculating, but I think they knew there wasn't something right about him after his divorce, that there's some sort of suicide by cop, suicide by ICE. This guy had, from what his parents said, taken part in everything from George Floyd moving forward. He'd been highly politicized, and I think this is a way that he was going to go and go out in a blaze of glory.
Dude, and then on top of this, which is crazy enough, there's the manual instructing people how to do exactly what Alex Pretty did. They have a full-on manual. So when you talk about, Los, this being coordinated, this being an operation on the other side, a leftist operation, that's what it is. Everybody has now probably, if you've been on social media at all, specifically X, because that's where you can speak freely, you will have seen the Minnesota best practices for neighborhood or area patrolling / monitoring. There is a table of contents that is pages long. That's what here's how we want you to take it right up to the line, like Lo said. We want you to get those officers to the point that they're ready to defend themselves. They're ready to lash out. That's what you're trying to get them to do. And there's a manual on how to do it. Tell me how that's organic. If you agree with these leftist protesters, 404-741-1230, tell me why you need a manual to take them to the edge, to get them to that point. You don't, Los. That's the problem.
And this is where Renee Good, also apparently not that well trained either. Once you're operating a motor vehicle, that changes the entirety of the game here. And so a perceived threat. Well, I had to explain this to a rather foolish lefty on Saturday. I was having to explain escalation and how whatever you bring to the table, let's say you decide you want a fight with a law enforcement official. I'm going to fight with an ICE agent. And you've got your fists. All right. You're going to take a beating as you should. And hopefully 3 guys jump in as they should. And you'll take your beating and then you'll be in cuffs and you'll go away for a year somewhere. All right. What happens if you have a knife on you? Okay. Things start to escalate. If you got a gun on you, if you are driving a car, that's the idea of escalation. These are people that escalated these scenarios, and apparently that wasn't in their manual at all about what happens, how police, law enforcement how they respond to escalation.
And then on top of it, Los, when they do get arrested, you would think they would go away for a year, but they're not. They're turning them loose because the city, when these people are arrested, the city, if they get involved at all, which they are very little, obviously, because there's no coordination between the city police there in Minneapolis and the ICE agents. But even if there were somebody arrested, they're going to be turned loose. One of those activist judges are going to have them back on the streets in 24 hours, not a year. It should be a year. It should be longer than that. And yet, these judges are doing the best they can to put these activists, these people that are coordinated in what looks like a paramilitary operation against ICE, they're back on the street doing it again.
In this Tug, this is why the Signal group chat and everything that went into that is the real way that this thing goes away. Because what you're going to need are federal charges of conspiracy.
Yep, you are.
And that's when this is all going to come crumbling down. That's the reason why, in my opinion, the people in the Signal chat lost their mind and they all left. Which, by the way, not only included just the people that were talking about, the activists on the street, people in the State House, but also you had local media members. So this is all coordinated.
Yeah.
All from the left, all from the dedicated communists.
Yeah, that's right. And but the fact that it's coming from the State House, it's bad enough it's the media, right? It's bad enough. But when you have your own state government trying to essentially overthrow what the federal government is doing, from the State House, when Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan is part of the Signal chat, dude, that is the biggest conspiracy I've ever seen. I don't know that I've ever seen or heard anything like that. Well, not since the 1800s anyway.
It's wild because while it kind of remains to be seen if it's exactly her, she immediately last night deleted a bunch of her social media.
Yeah.
Which is normally
that's usually the telltale.
The telltale sign that, okay, we got her. This is who it is. This is who's taking part in this. This is the same person who told those activists out there that they had to put their bodies on the line in order to get this thing done.
And guess what? Now 2 people have, and 2 people are dead. You don't get killed if you're standing on the sidewalk with a megaphone or your silly whistle or a sign that you've painted or you've been issued because they all look exactly the same. You don't get shot and killed. That's not what happens. You then are safe. You're out of the way. You're not interfering in an operation. You can hate it all you want, but it's being done under federal law. If you don't like the law, change the law. Why is the shooting legal? If you've been wondering that, we've got the answer for you. I want you to hear from Andrew Bracca. He is he's an attorney, and he lays it out for you pretty clearly.
One of the ICE guys perceived the gun on the suspect, this gun, and took it off his person and was turning away, walking away with the gun to secure it from the suspect. But what might have happened, remember, there's a whole bunch of officers involved. They're not all, Ethernet cable to each other's brains. They're all seeing different things. And one officer might have seen the gun and said the word gun. And that might have triggered that first shot by an officer. And then all the other officers begin shooting in response to that initial discharge. That does not make the shooting unlawful. It would be an awful but lawful shooting. So what's required for the shooting to be lawful? The officers have to have a reasonable perception of an imminent threat of unlawful deadly force harm. That's it. If the answer to that is yes, this is a lawful shoot. They're struggling with this gun. If they perceive this guy as being non-compliant with arrest, fighting with officers, as reaching for a weapon, they will have reasonably perceived an imminent threat of unlawful deadly force harm.
There you go. What did you see? You saw the man go back to the back of his pant where his holster, you would assume his holster was, An officer had already snatched it out of there, but that's what he was going for.
That's what he was going for.
And just like the lawyer said, if you perceive yourself to be in danger, and if you see a gun, we know gun was shouted, then yes, you perceived yourself to be in danger. It's as straight as an arrow. It's so easy, even a Democrat could understand. Now, will they agree? No, they'll probably dance around it, but it's the truth, Los.
Considering that it again, because of the gun apparently at some point going off.
Yep.
So you had one chambered, you had a full magazine. He was carrying, reportedly, two additional magazines. If I'm just trying to take this all in for anyone who's like, he only had one gun on him, how would I know that?
Yeah, how would you? How would you know that? Nobody knew that.
He's getting shot.
That's exactly right, dude.
And guess what? And this is what everybody has a hard time with on the left. All of those people that are a part of that shoot, they're all going home. Alex Pretty isn't.
He ain't.
And it's his own damn fault.
That's exactly right. And it's sad for his parents and his family and his friends. Dude, it's tough. It's tough. But what happened, he brought on himself, and that is clear. There's no dancing around that part. If you don't interfere with a ICE operation, a federal officer's job, then you don't end up shot or dead. Morning Xtra and Extra 106.3. One investigative journalist lays out how the left has caused this chaos. He makes it clear as a bell, much like the attorney did. We'll play it for you next on Extra.
Stream Atlanta's only conservative voice anywhere you go with the Extra 106.3 app. Now equipped with Apple CarPlay. That means you'll always have Extra's crystal clear HD stream right on your dashboard no matter where you are. Download the all-new Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
Has it crossed your mind? Have you been considering an electric vehicle? Well, make sure it's practical and make it a Toyota. The new 2026 Toyota BZ, estimated 314-mile all-electric driving range and strong immediate acceleration. 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds. Now we're talking about a quiet, smooth ride that also gives you punch. And it makes your daily drive easier on top of that because with an option to charge at home, you can eliminate gas station stops and keep your routine simple. Now here's why to buy at Marietta Toyota. We, of course, have been serving Marietta since 1975, and this team knows Toyota better than anybody else. They know what real inventory is and ongoing support right here on the Kyle Parkway South location. Right now, 0% APR for 72 months plus $3,500 bonus cash on the new 2026 BZ. Marietta Toyota, we've been here and we'll be here for you.
0% APR for 72 months equals $1,389 for $1,000 finance with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. Not all buyers will qualify. $3,500 bonus APR cash from SCTF requires financing with SCTF. Applied as a down payment. No cash back. Offer ends 2/2/26.
Braves country, pack your bags. It's time to hit the road. Join Braves Vacations for the ultimate fan getaway in 2026. 2 epic trips, 2 legendary ballparks, and 1 unforgettable adventure. Cheer on the Braves at the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati and enjoy a trip to Churchill Downs. Or feel the roar of Yankee Stadium in the Big Apple. Each travel package is loaded with unique experiences, special activities, and hand-picked accommodations. Don't just watch baseball, live it. Head to Braves.com/vacations to lock in your spot today.
Faith, family, freedom. These are the cornerstones of America and the foundation for a successful life. But today, all 3 are under attack. Crushing debt, out-of-control spending, and reckless policies in Washington are threatening your savings, your retirement, and your future. Hi, this is Glenn Beck. The only financial advisory firm I recommend in Atlanta is Nicholas Wealth Management. David Nicholas and his team believe protecting your money is about more than wealth. It's about defending your faith, your family, and your freedom. If your hard-earned retirement is left exposed to market chaos, higher taxes, or inflation, what happens to the life you've worked so hard to build? For over 20 years, David Nicholas has helped families right here in Atlanta fight back with retirement strategies built to better withstand uncertainty. Call Nicholas Wealth Management today, 404-890-5606, or visit nicholaswealth.com. Aim to safeguard your future today.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. Glenn Beck is not a client and is paid for his endorsement.
Ain't nothing beats the cozy comfort of a warm fireplace on a cool Georgia night. Tug here for Chimney Solutions. But before you light that fire, make sure the chimney's clean, safe, and ready with my friends at Chimney Solutions. Did you know that a dirty and damaged chimney could lead to dangerous carbon monoxide leaks or even chimney fires? Don't take that chance. Chimney Solutions certified technicians use state-of-the-art equipment to ensure your home and family are protected. Chimney Solutions, keeping Georgia homes safe, warm, and beautiful for over 25 years.
Join Daniel Madelon, CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Cowart as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around. It's not PR, it's not fluff. It's an honest talk about what's working, what's broken, and how to build a better path forward, one second chance at a time. This week's guests are COO of A Second Chance, Ryan Madelon, and Director of Operations for A Second Chance, Jesse Fellabaum. Justice Unfiltered. Unfiltered, informed, and unbiased.
So your New Year's resolution was to slow down on the drinking. Now you're in a jail cell facing a DUI. Time to call A Second Chance Bail Bonds. A Second Chance will get your loved one home quickly. For 20 years, they've been helping folks with 12 locations across Metro Atlanta and Birmingham and are available 24/7. For fast, professional, discreet services, call 404-BAILOUT. That's 404-BAILOUT or visit atlbail.com. A Second Chance Bail Bonds. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
Good morning. Here are your sports. Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday.
It's Monday, January 26th, and here are your headlines. Georgia power crews are still working to restore electricity after the weekend ice storm knocked out power to thousands of customers across North and Metro Georgia. Crews are dealing with icy roads, fallen trees, downed power lines, with officials urging patience as conditions remain dangerous. The powerful ice storm that impacted Atlanta this weekend is still having effects, bringing hazardous travel conditions, school and event cancellations, and flight delays. Cherokee, Cobb, DeKalb, and Fulton were all listed as counties there is still an ice warning in effect in. Some sad news out of the University of Georgia. President Michael F. Adams has passed away overnight after serving the university for 16 years, helping shape the university's trajectory and leaving a lasting mark on the institution. And finally, a University of Georgia grad is headed back to the Super Bowl as Mike McDonald leads the Seattle Seahawks there in just his second season as head coach. McDonald coached at Cedar Shoals High School while earning his finance degree from UGA's Terry College of Business. Went on to serve as a graduate assistant and defensive quality control coach under Mark Richt from 2010 to 2014. Today's weather is a chilly one with a high of 33 and a low of 13. With your Xtra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
Tug and Los until 10 on Xtra 106.3. A former Minnesota Viking, captain of the team, Jack Brewer. Saw a quote from him, and it's so dead on. It's so spot on. He said, Minnesota Democrats hate ICE because they're deporting their voters. Exactly right.
Oh.
He's nailed it. You know what? And I went back and started, I was like, before I, say this, before I quote this, I was like, well, let me make sure. I wanted to make sure that this is something he said. So I found it in multiple sources that he has said that. And he's deadly accurate. He's dead on, Los. It's exactly what's happening. And I don't know if it's Democrats that don't know, don't care. I'm trying to figure out where the disconnect is. I know the agitators, the activists, the communists. I know they know. They're trying to cover for the fraud that's going on because that's how they get paid. They're trying to cover for the fraud that's going on because that's how their candidates get elected. But it's the average everyday Democrat that doesn't realize that the party has left them, that doesn't realize that the party isn't the party of their father, grandfather, great-grandfather, whatever. I'm trying to figure out how they don't know. I'm trying to figure out how they haven't figured it out, Los.
You know, the strange thing for me is that, like, the useful idiot's always going to be the useful idiot. That is the term that the KGB came up with, those that when the communists were looking to infiltrate, to be subversive, and then to ultimately take over, they knew they needed people that would go along with it. And so that was the useful idiot to them. The useful idiot on the street in Minneapolis and the everyday Democrat can't explain what's really going on other than to say Orange Man bad. Yeah. Trump bad, ICE bad. Yeah. That's all they can say.
And they've been brainwashed to believe that.
That's what they're going with. Now,
go ahead.
The bigger picture here is that you do have a plan here by the communists to tear down America, in part by flooding the zone with so many people that we can't pay for in order to secure their own power. This is how they get to their destructive ends, and then they get to rise up and do what they want. But I don't believe the common street animal or the regular Democrat could ever explain that that's the goal to you.
No, they would never be able to. But it's smart guys like Jack Brewer that's going, I see it. And that's the thing. Listen, I don't want to be an idiot. You know what I mean? So what do I do to try to prevent that? I try to go and read. I try to go and read in places that isn't telling me the same thing over and over again. It should be haunting to you that MS Now, that ABC and NBC and all the CBS, they're all saying the same stuff. That should be the first giveaway. Wait, everybody's saying the same thing? Nobody has a variance of opinion at all? So I would go and try to find an independent journalist. Go and try to find somebody that maybe I don't even agree with on everything, but get their perspective. That's what you and I do. I don't know how. I mean, maybe it's everyday people don't have time to, or maybe they don't care to. Maybe they like being fed the information, but I don't want to be an idiot like that. I don't want to be foolish like that, Los.
I don't want to just have it be, well, you know what they're doing it for? It's because they don't like Donald Trump. Like, that's not good enough.
That's right.
That's not enough in a country that at this point, this is a 80-20 issue. The polling shows that when it comes to using our immigration laws, 80% of all voters agree with what is going on. This is a 20% that the Democrats have become, but they're willing to kill in order to make sure that they're able to secure power. That's what we're dealing with now. That is the insurrection that is now the Battle of Minneapolis.
Can I tell you how I know that that's right? Is because people like even Chipper Jones, Hall of Famer.
Even Chipper Jones.
Even Chipper Jones says in a tweet, I saw it last night, less talk, more handcuffs.
Yep.
He understands. He's in the 80%, just like you and I, just like you listening, in the 80%. Chipper doesn't pipe up about a whole lot of politics. This one he did because he sees it for what it is. He sees it the way you and I see it, Los, that there's right and wrong. And those people in Minnesota are wrong. Now, are some of them brainwashed because you have people like Tim Walz, the governor, continuously talking about Gestapo and Nazi and all fascists and all this, pouring gas on the fire? Even with his tweet last night, damn proud of Minnesota. You're proud of this? You're telling me you look at what's happening and that makes you proud? Even if you agree with what's going on or disagree with ICE, even if you disagree with ICE, you're telling me a city turned upside down, now with autonomous zones, which make no sense, by the way. You're telling me that's what you're proud of? So if I'm everyday Joe Schmo voter and I see him saying I'm proud of this, dude, I want no part of it. There's no way I would vote. I continue to be cautiously optimistic about the midterms because I think most of the American people, including people like Chipper Jones, like me, like you, look at what's happening in Minnesota and say, I don't want that for my country.
I've been calling it the Hitler bunker. If you know your history at the end, when Hitler was in Berlin, he was giving out all these crazy orders from the bunker to units. Some of them didn't even exist. And everything was fight to the last man. Everybody know they're all going to die. Hey, we shouldn't have one person that's going to surrender. I mean, it was pure madness. That is what I believe you're getting right now from Mayor Fry, what you're getting from Tim Walz, what you're getting from Keith Ellison. They all know they're cooked. They all know they're done. Like, this is over with. The fraud has been determined. You're probably going to go to federal prison. This is the end of this. But so now the commands are coming from the Hitler bunker to the last man.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting now. That's all you're hearing from him as he makes these crazy comparisons to incite people to get more violent.
Michael Schellenberger is an investigative journalist, and he lays it out. What's happening in Minnesota, and it's as clear as a bell. The left has used politics to label Trump as a fascist, knowing it's not true, label ICE as the Gestapo, knowing it's not true, now gotten 2 people killed. This is the same people that got Trump shot at and Charlie Kirk killed too. The leftists in office know exactly what they're doing. Listen to this.
The underlying problem is that for decades, schools, Hollywood, and the media have made clear that we should risk and even sacrifice our lives to stop fascism and Nazism. And yet neither ICE raids nor Trump are fascist, and it is offensive to compare them to the Nazis. The Nazis rounded up Jewish citizens and shipped them to death camps. ICE, by contrast, is detaining foreigners who the government believes are in the U.S. illegally and in many cases committed other criminal offenses. No other nation in the world has allowed more people to enter illegally than the United States, nor has any other nation treated them with greater due process than the U.S. is doing. The American people elected Trump president, like it or not, and the Constitution's Supremacy Clause in Article 6 establishes that federal law prevails over conflicting state or local laws. It ensures the Constitution, federal statutes, and treaties are the supreme law of the land, binding state courts and governments. The ICE raids may be bad politics, but there is no question that they are constitutional. While some Democrats and progressives know their language is hyperbolic, half of the individuals surveyed told pollsters last year that Trump is a fascist.
See, that's the thing. They keep adding fuel to the fire, just like investigative journalist Michael Schellenberg is pointing out to you. They know what they're saying is not true, but they know they will spin up a certain amount of the useful idiots, as Los has called them, and I agree with. They'll spin them up enough to have them take a gun. Yes, he was carrying it legally. This is not a Second Amendment issue.
Not at the time.
The leftists love to make this, oh, now you don't support the Second Amendment. I completely support it. I bet there's been plenty of people that have gone to protest with firearms. I bet they had their concealed carry with them, and I bet they had their license on them, which is required, which by law you must have. Of course, Alex Preddy did not have those things. They know that they can spin these people up, and they know what the outcome is. They know what it's going to be. Yet it's worth it to them, Los.
There's one thing that I don't believe that Michael Schellenberger got right there. Now, it is legitimate to say just because this is unpopular with you doesn't mean it's unconstitutional.
Got it. Yeah.
When he made that point, but here was the where I would throw up the stop sign here. All of this deportation enforcement has been popular. And so, he draws a line of, hey, just because it's not politically smart doesn't mean it's unconstitutional. No, the left, the problem they have, the news media and everybody else, it's that it doesn't matter how it's been colored, doesn't matter how it's been covered. It's still popular. We went through some of the numbers. You're looking at 80% of all Americans who say if you committed a crime while you're in this country, you should go. The numbers have still sat at 56% that say everybody should go.
That's
so
right.
all of this stuff of saying, hey, this is politically, it's not smart, but it's constitutional. No, it's politically smart and constitutional. And that's why the left is going so nuts about it.
That's right. They can't understand. They can't get it. They can't figure it out. Why does it remain popular?
Can't stop it in the courts. Can't do anything with it. Activist judges can't stop it.
And wondering why it remains popular with the American people, because the American people were so fed up with what was done to them during COVID, because I think this goes back to COVID. The way that we were treated, you couldn't tell the truth, you couldn't speak aloud. People are so sick of having their rights trampled by a huge government, which Donald Trump said will shrink and has. He's delivered on that promise. The government is the size it was 10 years ago. You think the Democrats are happy about that? No, they're government people. Where does their funding come from? The government. They don't want that to happen. That's exactly right, man. That stuff drives me up the stinking wall. And I think the American people are so fed up with that, and then they see what they voted for to be combated by the left to say, no, we can't get rid of these people. We can't take people that came here illegally and send them home. Why not? Why can't you? What do you mean? That's what we voted for. That's what we're getting. That's why it remains popular.
Tug, I'm glad you brought up the COVID and the censorship issue, because I just remember like 3-4 years ago, I'd see a story come out, I would see it posted, and immediately there would be this moment of going, well, there's nothing that can be done about it. No one's going to challenge it. We all know it's false. That's going to be around the world before the truth gets out of bed. Now what's so different is when I see that stuff that gets put out there, how quickly it gets disassembled and taken apart, and the actual real information is available. I think that's another one of those systems that is so frustrating to the other side because they, for a long time, have always dominated the news media. Now, no one's paying attention.
Yeah.
It doesn't work the same way.
Right. Because community notes, even if it's as simple as a community note, hey.
Well, Tug, I was told that Alex Pretty was directing traffic. That was one of them.
Yeah.
I was also told that he was just standing and filming.
Right.
Neither one of them are confirmed by the video. In the same way I was told that, the driver of an SUV and Renee Good, she was just driving through the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't take long to take this stuff apart and go, nope.
Especially when we saw the video, specifically with Renee Good, of her wife getting out and filming and then saying, go, baby, when she pushed the gas.
Her spending 3 minutes in the middle of the road just trying to cause a traffic pileup because ICE was trying to operate on that street.
There is
again, these narratives, they don't work anymore. Censorship is dead.
And it is frustrating to the left, no question. Although their paramilitary organization is working pretty well to inform people of the movements of ICE, and we'll get into some more of that. We talked about it a little bit earlier. We'll get into some more of that here in just a little bit. And the fact that they've built this crazy network, and it even goes all the way up to the government in Minneapolis. When we come back, there is one group of Americans who ain't buying the ICE is bad narrative. Next on Extra 106.3.
Extra 106.3 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, January 26th. From the NFL, the Super Bowl is now set as the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks will match up in nearly 2 weeks. The Patriots beat the Broncos in Denver 10-7 to take the AFC crown in a driving blizzard. The Seahawks, they outlasted the Rams in Seattle 31-27, including a fourth quarter goal line stand to win the NFC Championship. From the NBA, the Atlanta Hawks are in action today as the game time for tonight's matchup with the visiting Indiana Pacers has been moved up due to ice storms and inclement weather in the area. The new tip-off time is this afternoon and is set for 1:30. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
If you've been waiting for the right time to upgrade your home's comfort, this is it. Central Heating and Air Conditioning is proud to announce the 29th annual Winter White Sale, and it's our lowest pricing of 2026. For a limited time, everything is on sale. Heating and cooling systems and complete home performance solutions with rebates and discounts up to $2,300. Are you dealing with hot or cold spots in your home? Energy bills that just keep climbing? Or unhealthy indoor air affecting your family's comfort? Central has the solution. As your trusted carrier partner, they install industry-leading carrier systems backed by strong warranties and peace of mind that comes with proven performance and efficiency. With 79 years experience, Central Heating and Air Conditioning knows how to design comfort solutions that work not just today, but for years to come. This is your chance to save big during Central's 29th annual Winter White Sale, but it won't last long. Central Heating and Air Conditioning, delivering carrier comfort for the world we share.
We're smart, we care. We're Central Heating and Air.
Hey Atlanta, if you've been waiting for the right time to upgrade your truck, this is it. Because right now at Jim Ellis Buick GMC, you can save up to $13,250 off MSRP on in-stock 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 crew cabs,
including elevation, SLT, and Denali trims. Whether you need it for work, play, or both, here's the real savings example. A 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 elevation, stock number GS4601, MSRP $68,545.
After $10,250 in Jim Ellis discounts, your sale price is just $58,295. And if you've got a 2011 or newer vehicle to trade, you can qualify for up to $3,000 in trade assistance, pushing your total savings up to $13,250 off MSRP.
Find your new Sierra and save at JimEllisBuickGMC.com or shop in person, located on Peachtree Boulevard, just inside the perimeter, or off Highway 20 in Buford.
Offer excludes TABT and state fees and expires January 31st, 2026. So don't wait.
Jim Ellis Buick GMC. We are professional grade.
A golf instructor who knows technique can improve an aspiring pro's swing. But one who really cares can help transform a career.
There he is, your new champion.
When you team up with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Truist Bank, member FDIC, leading based on top 10 U.S. commercial bank.
Hey, this is Matt from East Cobb. We basically bought our house from our in-laws. It was my wife's childhood home. One of the issues that we've had when we first moved in was our dog in our backyard. It was extremely shaded, could never grow grass back there. We resodded it twice. So ATL Turf Co. did an amazing job with our backyard transformation. They basically created a miniature golf hole. We have a miniature fairway. We also have a miniature little putting green. Consists of about 4 holes, total about 40 yards, so you can definitely work on your short game and your putting. After that transformation that ATL Turf Co. did for us, my father-in-law came and saw his house the way it looked after the fact of we had a putting green and a miniature golf course. Sure enough, he did the same thing with ATL Turf Co. He has a beautiful backyard, wonderful stonework, drainage, and a beautiful practice area for chipping and putting. Check them out online at atlturfco.com.
Thousands of veterans across Georgia are missing out on the benefits they've earned through their service. The Warrior Alliance is changing that by connecting veterans and their families to life-changing resources and support. Tune into the Warrior Alliance Network, our podcast and radio show dedicated to helping veterans succeed after service. Join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. on 106.3 to hear inspiring veteran stories, discover free programs, and learn about career opportunities available to you. Subscribe to the Warrior Alliance YouTube channel today.
File your taxes for free with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. Just file on your own in the Credit Karma app by February 28th. Valid for those who didn't file with TurboTax last year.
Need a quick sports fix? Catch Holy Crap, It's Sports with Pete Davis every weekday at 5:20 on The Kimmer Show. It's fast, funny, and a break from the political chaos. Only on Extra 106.3.
I don't know how you would fall in line behind these crazy Antifa-style activists in Minneapolis. I mean, if you look at them, they're tatted all over their faces. I mean, like, who's taking direction for somebody that looks like that? Who's going, yep, that's the guy I'm going to follow? I don't know how you do that.
He's just enlightened.
I suppose so. It's all the tattoos on his face make him smarter than you and I and everybody else. But I saw where Andy Go had posted this video of a Antifa member, a guy named Kyle Wagner. He's urging other Antifa members and anybody else that will, get your effing guns and stop these effing people. We need to kill them. Take up arms and kill these agents. That's what he's encouraging people to do. He's doing it on Instagram. I mean, Instagram, of all places. Like, it seems to be the least political of all the social media platforms, or at least in my experience it has.
Did you see the follow-up to who Kyle Wagner is?
No, I didn't.
Trans.
Of course.
Really?
Is that was he wearing the red dress?
Yeah.
I did see that. I didn't put it together until just now.
Yeah,
Got it.
It was real tough guy talk,
Yep.
and then a little bit of looking into it, and you're like, why is this guy into cross-dressing? You're like, oh, okay.
Got it. Mental.
All right.
Mental.
It all makes sense now.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh my gosh, man, it's stuff like this. But there is a group of people, Los, that are like, I don't care what that dude says, I'm out.
This part has been one of the more enjoyable angles to this entire crazy story. So the Battle of Minneapolis, if you might notice if you're looking on the street, there's a whole lot of Karens. There's a whole lot of weird man buns. There's a whole lot of Alex Pretty looking sort of people. You know what you're not going to see? Much of the black community. Okay?
God bless them. God bless them.
You can go through the numbers in terms of the people that agree with what is going on. And like I said, I can grab some of those here in just a moment. But what you have, and I've talked about this plenty, the Hispanic community, the ones that are here, that have been here, that are legally here, they don't like any of this one bit at all. They don't care for any of the illegal migration. Well, what has now happened is since you brought all these people, these third worlders in, you have basically given them housing, you've given them debit cards, you've given them cell phones, you've given them everything that for the better part of 3 or 4 generations you told black people, well, we don't do that. That's not available to you. Well, we're going to take care of you. Yeah. How? Keeping you in your same spot you've been in.
That's right.
That's the Democrat way. So I want to play this gentleman who went on. He ended up putting a post together, and he is another Second Amendment guy. But yet he clarifies how, as a Second Amendment guy, this is how he makes it home every day. Take a listen.
Hey, yo, America, understand this. I'm a black man in America, right? I walk around with a 19 on my hip, a SIG in my glove compartment, and an AR-15 in my 2020 Honda Accord daily, right? And you know what I don't do with those things? I don't go and impede law enforcement carrying out their duties.
Here, here.
You know what I do? I mind my business. That's all I do. I go out there, I drink water, I get money, and I mind my business. You know my favorite saying, right? And for some reason, I'm able to survive. Every single day, I'm able to come home, run my kids a bath, tuck them in, and continue to do my thing. No harm comes to me, no harm comes to my family. I also have a 12-gauge pump, away from the kids, of course, because, you know, you got to be a responsible pew-pew owner, okay? And no harm comes to me and my family because I mind my business. I let the law do the law things. If I have beef, I petition my lawmakers. I don't go and take it out on law enforcement who are also citizens and Americans like me. And for some reason, I'm still here. There's a lesson in that.
Me and that guy got a lot in common.
Yeah.
Me and that. We're not supposed to, though. The media would tell you.
Oh, the media will tell you, oh, you guys, y'all are supposed to be at each other's throats.
Dude,
you're like,
that's my guy.
I live like you live. By the way, the Rasmussen numbers, Tug. Here was what came out over the weekend as far as illegal immigrants who commit crimes, should they be deported. White people, 80% said yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hispanic people, 77% said yes. Black people, 71% said yes.
Yeah. That's why he sounds like that. And that's why he and I sound alike. That's why you and him sound alike. That's why all the sane people kind of have the same message. You know, if you don't go skydiving, you can't. Your parachute can't not work. Los has used that example a million times. If you don't impede, like the gentleman said, you don't end up with a bullet hole in you. You don't. It doesn't happen. If you're Los, even if you feel so convicted to go down there and protest with your whistle and your sign and your megaphone, if you don't impede, if you stand on the sidewalk and yell and scream and holler and ring a bell and whatever you want to do, if you don't put your hands on the officers, if you don't block the intersection, if you don't do any of those things, you'll be the same way. You'll go home just like that man home and run your kids a bath.
Yep.
But you have to want to do that.
And by the way, if I'm legally carrying, I can be armed to the teeth.
That's right.
And as long as
that's right, dude. It's not a Second Amendment issue. That's the thing that's pissed me off more than anything this weekend because they've tried to make it that. Well, the conservatives now, they don't want you to have your Second Amendment. Bull crap. We want you to do it correctly.
I posted this, Tug, and I the amount of response actually was very surprising to me. I said, you can tell when the left advocates for the Second Amendment, because you know they can't stand that they really have no idea what it means to be a responsible firearm owner. None. Because there was nothing that Alex Priddy did that a responsible gun owner would have done. I wouldn't have showed up somewhere that's going to be volatile to start with. If I did happen to show up somewhere that ended up becoming volatile, I'm going to make sure that I'm in good legal standing where I have all the paperwork that I need because I am carrying responsibility on my hip.
Yeah,
it's not just a toy.
That's right. It's exactly right.
This is not the way we do things. Yet, the left is so nonchalant. They're so wishy-washy of like, well, you're allowed to carry. Oh, no, you are. But
nobody's arguing that.
But you have to have a different level of responsibility. And that gentleman, in 90 seconds, explained how he is armed to the teeth on the daily.
Dude.
And yet he goes home to his kids every single day.
Amazing how that happens.
Crazy, huh?
Amazing that it could happen. With all those guns, you mean the guns didn't shoot anybody? That's what you're trying to convince me of? The one in the glove compartment in your 2020 Accord didn't shoot a soul. It's amazing. I don't know how that happened. He says he does it every day. Boy, he's walking a thin line, isn't he? Just in danger all the time.
You just never know when those guns are going to decide to shoot somebody.
Yeah, no, they're not. And the gun that the officers have won't shoot anybody either.
And that's another thing, Tug, that you kind of go down this road. There are situations we have. Most notably, there was a person in Louisiana, I remember was one of them, where he was a gun owner, and what he would do is he would antagonize people into road rage incidents and shoot them.
Oh, God.
Now, the reason why I remember it, he had done that to somebody, gotten away with it, and then the next time he did it, it was to Joe McKnight. He was a former NFL running back. And this time, the guy didn't get away with it. He went to prison because he wasn't a responsible gun owner. He had a gun looking to shoot people. He would try and amp them up to put them in a scenario where he could. That's what Alex Pretty was doing.
Yeah, trying to goat somebody into it. It's the craziness that's happening across the country. But
he just wasn't fast enough.
Yeah, exactly.
He lost the quick draw challenge in the Battle of Minneapolis.
Right, because the officer was quick enough to snatch it away from him.
Too bad.
Morning Xtra and Xtra 106.3 when we continue. Tim Walls, he wants you to know that the next Anne Frank is out there writing the stories. Next on the Morning Xtra.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
His name is Alex Pretty. He's a 37-year-old ICU nurse, Minneapolis. More accurately, he was a nurse. That's the news story over the weekend. But let's go back to how this happened. Who are these people protesting ICE? When Obama and Hillary and Biden and Harris all express their desire for illegals to be deported, the left did not complain. But when Donald Trump all of a sudden started doing it, well, as that idiot governor of Wisconsin says, it is the Holocaust all over again. You see interviews all the time where somebody delivers a quote about deporting illegal aliens, tells the person being interviewed that Trump said it, and ask them what they think. Oh, it's just horrible. But then they say, oh, by the way, it wasn't Trump. It was Obama that said that. And all of a sudden, not so bad. These protesters in Minneapolis are protesting ICE because they're operating under Trump's authority. That is the main reason. It is all anti-Trump, Trump derangement syndrome. So what happened to Mr. Pretty? He shows up at a protest against ICE. For some reason, he shows up carrying a gun. Then he confronts an ICE agent who was arresting a criminal illegal alien. ICE agents notice that he is armed. They do what you would expect, and Pretty ends up dead. That's sad. I love nurses, especially ICU nurses. But even a nurse has to abide by the law of fool around and find out. See, I cleaned that up a little bit. Don't interfere with the legal efforts of law enforcement personnel arresting a criminal. It might not end up well for you. Neil Bortz, Xtra 106.3.
Hi, it's Los, here with Tom Mitchell, the Honest Car Guy. Tom, you are changing the way people are buying their next pre-owned car or truck. How are you doing it?
You know, Los, we found a better way for customers to buy a car. An honest way, a very transparent way. You pay what we pay plus our honest fee.
How do you prove that?
We even prove it to you by giving you a copy of the bill of sale at the end of the deal.
How much can people save when they buy their next vehicle with the Honest Car Guy?
I've saved people upwards of $20,000 and $30,000. I mean, it really depends on the year, the make, the model of the car, and the price of the car. You know, on a $15,000 car, I can't save you $20,000. We can probably save you $2,000 or $3,000. But it's through the course of the whole sale. The big one here that people don't realize, the financing. You go into the dealership, they tell you your rate's 9%. Well, really, it's probably 7% because they're allowed to make 2 points on there. The Honest Car Guy, you'll save an average of $5,000 to $10,000 depending on the price of the car.
Folks, if you want to save thousands on your next pre-owned car or truck, try the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or honestcarguy.com.
The Morning Extra, every weekday on your drive to work on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra 106.3 app.
Maybe you can, you've got it just sitting on your mantle. And there's the ashes, and you're like, Daddy, did you hear what they said today? I know you did, Daddy.
Be odd talking to some ashes. If you spill them, they'll be everywhere.
That's right.
It'd be bad news. Can you
Daddy,
imagine? Where are you? Where's the vacuum, Mama? I got to get Daddy.
Did you hear about the Morning Extra?
Did you hear about Don Lemon storming the church in Minnesota? It's crazy, Daddy. Can you imagine if they'd have done that at our church? You'd have shot their ass.
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station is Extra 106.3. WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
3 inches of snow. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That is the biggest total in the massive storm measured in Pennsylvania. There's at least a foot of snow in a dozen other states and a lot of ice across the South.
Been a very difficult situation in our state. I will say that. We've had a truly historic storm.
Tennessee Governor Bill Lee, his state has the most power outages still this morning out of the 800,000 homes and businesses without electricity. And Lee tells Fox it's tough on crews with ice-covered trees.
Very dangerous situations. These limbs are falling down every day and every minute.
Driving remains difficult, too, from Texas to New England. Fox's Rich Edson's in Washington, D.C.
Walking around here isn't exactly like walking through the snow. It's walking on top of the snow. That's because of that layer of ice that sits on top of it. It's a big mess to try to remove from roads and sidewalks, but they are trying here. The plows are out. Number of stores and transit all trying to get back on track here on this Monday.
The storm is blamed for at least 9 deaths, including a teenager killed in a sledding accident in Texas. Her sled was being pulled by a Jeep at the time. There could be more deaths in Bangor, Maine, where a small plane went down last night in snowy conditions, then caught fire.
8 people were on board the private aircraft when it crashed around 7:45 local time on Sunday evening. Fox 26 Houston reports that the tail number of the plane is linked to a Houston, Texas law firm. There is no word on the conditions of those on board.
That's Fox's Tanya J. Powers. For those trying to take flights as the storm wanes, it's still difficult at airports. Another 3,800 cancellations. Yesterday, there were more than 11,000 flights grounded, the most since early COVID times, March 30th, 2020. The anti-ICE protests continue in Minnesota. Angry over Saturday's shooting that left protester Alex Preddy dead, Democrats demand federal agents leave and that evidence from the shooting be preserved, which a judge ordered before a hearing today. Deputy U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche tells Fox,
we're going to go to court to say exactly what we're doing, which is, of course, we're investigating. We always investigate any conduct like this, any shooting like this. And
America's listening to Fox News.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Ben Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G coverage. What? Franklin wasn't even a president. Hang on to those Benjamins. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, to switch to an American wireless company that's truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Extra 106.3 wants to know, is this what you voted for? Call 404-741-1230 and let us know on the Morning Extra.
Morning, y'all. Tug and Los here on Extra 106.3. We're so glad that you've taken the time to join us this morning, whether from the comfort of your home, because you're able to work from home today. I know a lot of the schools are out today. Some doing some virtual learning. For Cy Fulton, I know we're doing that. I think Common Cherokee maybe are either all the way out or doing virtual learning.
Which just means my kids are still asleep.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Virtual learning.
That's exactly right. They'll get to it at some point.
They'll get around to it. Oh, some good news. I can now see the sidewalk.
Oh, here we go. Look, we've made progress.
Now, it's 19 degrees outside, according to the little thermometer. But, yes, I think we might be able to dig our way out of this by this afternoon.
Yeah, right now, the roads, major roads, pretty passable. I came in, it's probably about 4:30 this morning, and because of all the wind and gusts that have been a bit problematic, knocking down tree limbs, and now we had a bunch of that down in our front yard, but it dried up most of the most of the moisture on the roads and kept ice from forming, which is good news. But I can't say anything about the secondary roads because I didn't really take those. But for the most part, 400 is passable. I had no issue this morning, and I talked to Matt Edgar down the hall, a producer at our sister station, The Fan, 680 and 93.7 FM. He came up 75 northbound from Calhoun, Georgia, and said road was completely passable. But I mean, you use your own judgment. Los is in a different situation. You have people ice skating in the front yard, out in the cul-de-sac.
I'm telling you, I wish I could send you this video.
I would love it. I would love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's through our I don't know, our Facebook community page, but sure enough, like you see one kid and you're like, are those ice skates? And then suddenly it's like their brother or sister goes flying by and you're like, those are ice skates.
Yeah. So the really extreme northern suburbs of Atlanta, like North Forsyth up where Los is, really got hit probably harder than the rest of us. Now I know over in northeast Georgia, all the way from Athens out to the northeast Georgia mountains, man, they are banged up. They're in bad shape up that way. So hoping people will stay at home for there. I mean, look, if you can work from home, I don't know why you wouldn't. Take advantage of that, get some things done, and you can, do send emails in your pajamas or whatever. But, if you got to get out, the main thoroughfares, in my experience coming in this morning, the main thoroughfares are in pretty good shape. I saw that the connector in downtown was in pretty good shape. So, just do whatever it is that you feel like is best for you and your family.
Yeah, if you're not comfortable with a little bit of ice and you've got the ability, stay home. Hopefully by tomorrow we're cleared out.
I believe that we will be. That's kind of the weather side of everything. Because, look, across the country, I think we got saved. We didn't get the brunt of everything else. Man, from Dallas all the way up through Tennessee. Tennessee got like 800,000 people without power. They're in bad shape. You may have actually heard that in the Fox News update. What you got, Bryce?
No, real quick, I was just going to say, I'm not sure how y'all spent the weekend and bunkering down, but I took y'all's recommendation, started Arrested Development. Big fan.
Okay. All right.
Big fan.
All right, good start.
All right. Yeah.
The King of Kong documentary is next up on the list. We're showing on Fox News that they're supposed to get snow next weekend, too. The Weather Channel isn't showing that, but the radar was showing it.
We have the possibility of another storm next weekend.
Death and destruction. That's what that is.
Yeah, and for those people in whether it's Nashville or some of the outlying areas, man, it looks really rough there.
Yeah. I know for my son, Augusta University, they start their baseball season this coming weekend. Well, actually, not even the week. Friday. They have their first game Friday, and then like a doubleheader Saturday. If we're getting more snow and blistering, they may have to push that back. I don't know how that works. I don't know. Los, you play college ball. What's the outlook? How do they determine that?
If you are able to play, then you play, and they'll try and get as many of them as possible. If it does end up, let's say you get snowed out, rained out, whether you can reschedule it. If not, then you basically are carrying around a couple of extra dates you can play. So later in the year, especially at the Division II level, when you need to qualify in your region, you might need that one extra game here or there, and so you might schedule somebody when you have an open date just to pad the record.
Whew, there you go. All right, so that's I just there's not a bit of me. As much as I love watching my kid play ball, and I know you enjoy watching your girls play ball, there's not one bit of me that is looking forward to going and sitting in a baseball field or at a baseball field and freezing to death. There's not. As much as I love watching my kid play, I'm not looking forward to that.
We would play early on in the year, every year in Oklahoma. In Oklahoma this time of year, I mean, you saw some of the temperatures there. They were like 15 degrees. I remember we played one series where we pulled up, and the coach from the other university flat out told our coach, I don't think we should play today. He's like, we drove up here. We're playing. I think it was like 35 degrees.
That's exactly
It was
right.
awful.
Holy cow. All right, Morning Xtra and Extra 106.3. Stay safe. Stay at home if you can, but if you do got to get out, the main thoroughfares are looking pretty good. Tip of the big 10-gallon hat to GDOT for getting out there and getting the brine on the roads and making those roads passable and safe. We appreciate the work and the effort. And then for those people that are without power, the linemen and all the folks that are trying to restore power for the people here in the state of Georgia and around the Southeast, for that matter, trying to get people back online. We appreciate them, too. So let's get to the first thing you need to know.
They want you awake, informed, and ready to fight for the facts of the day in the land of the free. Now your sleepyhead nature means you wake up calm. A mighty dose of reality coming in strong. Soon as the sun cracks the horizon so high. And we got the story, no time for a lie.
No, sir.
Put a boot in.
Oh, here we go. That's right.
Thank you, fake Toby Keith.
That's right. AI Toby Keith. He's still as feisty as he ever was when he was a real Toby Keith. The craziness. You know, that's another thing. He would not take too kindly to the craziness that is happening in Minneapolis. He would be outspoken about it. There's a lot of artists and a lot of entertainers that would be reluctant to speak out. And I get it. But Toby was not one of those. Toby would have said it like it is and would have called what is going on in Minneapolis unacceptable. And I believe it is unacceptable. I've yet to see somebody tell me why we shouldn't be enforcing laws on the books when it comes to immigration. No one's given me a good reason, Los, to not do that.
No, and if you were to look around the rest of the country, and ICE is operating everywhere. ICE is here in Atlanta. ICE is here in Forsyth County. ICE is everywhere. And yet, we're not having these issues anywhere else because other communities are, I don't want to say compliant. All they're doing is saying, hey, we're going to cooperate with federal law. That's it.
That's it.
Minneapolis has decided they're not going to cooperate at all, in part because this is their moneymaker. This is their way. They're going to fight Trump, and here's how to show you how strong we're going to be. If you look at it, I just was seeing some of the Google Analytics data. Do you know around the entirety of the country, the most Googled item right now is the Super Bowl in every state except for one, Minneapolis.
Yeah,
in Minnesota.
Oh, my gosh.
But the fun part about that is even the numbers on Alex Pretty from the weekend have cratered, as if the leftists had their cry for Saturday, and oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. And then by Sunday into Monday, they're looking around going, yeah, he probably got drilled for a reason, and they've moved on.
Yeah.
The media will still go another day or two,
Right.
but they know. As much same thing would happen with Renee Good. Don't try and run over a federal police officer.
It's really simple. It's really simple. And here's another thing you're going to hear all day. You probably heard it all day yesterday if you were dialed in. Oh, it's a Second Amendment issue. Second Amendment issue. No, it's not. It is not a Second Amendment issue. Did Alex Purdy have the ability to carry his firearm with him? Yes. He was a licensed concealed carry citizen. Problem is, he interfered with ICE operations. If he would have stood over on the sidewalk, yelled, screamed, blew a whistle, yelled through the megaphone, nothing would have happened to him. Nothing. I likened it to this earlier, Los. If you saw, let's say you knew your neighbor was having a domestic issue and the police were called. You've probably heard it night after night. And you saw the officers coming out to arrest, in this hypothetical situation, the husband because he's abusing his wife or his children or both. Would you step into that? Would you stop that?
Oh, only if we were in one of those ads where it's becoming your parents.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
where suddenly Tug has to come over and be like, "Hey, I hear stuff every single night, and I got this on my phone. Does anybody else want to take a look at this?" Like, no, just leave it alone.
That's right. Let the officers do what they're there to do. And the comparison. Why am I drawing this comparison? You ask. Because the person, the illegal that they were going after, when Alex Priddy was shot, was a convicted domestic abuser multiple times over. What is the difference? Help me understand the difference, because I see none. You wouldn't interfere with one. Why would you interfere with other? And it makes it even worse because it's not a local issue anymore. It's a federal issue. So it's incredibly more irresponsible to step in as far as you as a person getting yourself in trouble or killed when it comes to just trying to interrupt what was happening with the ICE officers. It's the most ridiculous thing, and it's a terrible comparison.
I just had a random thought, Tug.
Yep.
So what if, hypothetically, under your scenario, which all legitimate, the police show up, this is a couple who's been having domestic violence issues, there's been something going on. You're not really sure something going on. But let's say that I convinced you that neighbor of yours was Jesus.
Oh, then you would have to intervene because you got to help save Jesus.
That's the mentality by which these people are operating.
Great point.
That they've created this deity, this some sort of sacred emblem of, well, I get it. You're going after this illegal, but they're supposed to be here, and that's just mean. I got to get involved. In the same way that maybe I would say, hey, man, why don't you lay off of Jesus? That's what they're doing, except it happens to be a domestic abuser or a child pedophile or a child molester or a murderer or a rapist.
And then another layer to it is that Satan himself is the one that sent those officers in to get that domestic abuser, otherwise known as Jesus.
That's why Tug was like, I got to step up.
I got to step up. I got to step in.
But imagine that mentality.
Yeah,
that's what's justifying it in their minds.
They've been brainwashed. The useful idiot's been brainwashed. Now, there's so many of them there that are well-funded, well-organized, the agitators, the Antifa types. They know exactly what they're doing. It has nothing to do with Trump. It has nothing to do with ICE. It is everything to do with the revolution that they want to see in the United States of America. They see their opportunity to potentially start the unraveling of the United States. Hopefully one day to turn it into a socialist and or communist nation. They see this as the great opportunity that they've been waiting on for years.
It's right here. I talked about it being our Super Bowl. It's their Super Bowl. And that signal chat, I think, is another really good, strong indication. I've been monitoring the news. It's been mostly weather on local and mostly national as well. I haven't seen anybody bring up the fact that you have a counterinsurgency using technology that is looking at a database, that is looking at people's license plates in real time, and then telling people in Minneapolis where to get to, and it looks like it goes as high as the governor's office.
Dude, it's unbelievable that the lieutenant governor is being accused of being one of the administrators on the signal chat, which is put together like a paramilitary operation where they have names, they have pictures, they have vehicles and license plate numbers, and it's spread all around the city between hotel employees that have been drafted to be a part, then the media that is drafted to be a part. Hey, this is what we saw, this is who we saw, this is where they were. And then that goes all the way up, street agitator, all the way up to potentially the State House in Minneapolis. If you want to tell me that this is just a concerned group of citizens, you're as foolish as I think you are. This is a coordinated effort to disrupt and keep the attention off the fraud that is in Minneapolis, Minnesota, because they know if they lose that money, if they lose that ability to get those federal funds, then they are out of business, because where's the money coming from? That's why they want to cover it up there. That's why they don't want this discussed across the country, because every state, maybe not as bad as Minneapolis, Minnesota, or maybe it's worse. In some states, maybe it's worse, but that's what they're trying to do. They have so many goals with this, and it seems at this point the mainstream media is helping them prop it up.
Well, and then there's their governor, and Tim Walz, as you would expect a communist to do. You always have to shape the message. You always have to lie. You have to keep people in a constant state of basically being trapped in a bubble, their la-la land. Because if at any point they find out, oh, my God, this has all been a lie, and I think that's largely what's happening to the Democrats in general, that's when the whole world falls apart. They no longer back you. This was Tim Walz over the weekend. And remember, this is his people. They are using Signal, tied in with his office, reportedly, in order to cause all this domestic mayhem and to cause all these problems going after federal agents. Here's how he, though, compared the plight of those in Minneapolis.
Many of us grew up reading that story of Anne Frank. Somebody's going to write that children's story about Minnesota.
Oh, yeah. That's
they're
a good
just all
comparison.
Anne Frank,
yeah,
surrounded by the brown shirts.
That's right.
You are the brown shirts.
Yeah. How are you missing it? But he knows he's not missing it. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Tug, they're actually asking people, regular people on the road, to show ID so that they make sure they're not ICE. They're stopping people on the streets. That has been reported. James O'Keefe had talked about the same thing on Friday when he was getting text messages threatening his life. They are a coordinated effort. What it's referred to is parallel intelligence, and what they're doing is they are creating an insurgency that they're trying to fight the federal government. This is a legitimate, tried and true insurrection.
No question about it. And I do wish that the Trump administration would use the Insurrection Act to go in and clean this up, to just squash it, because that's what needs to happen. It's what needs to happen. I don't know what it does politically, Los. I have no idea. There's no way for me to know. But I'm telling you, this has to end. It can't continue this way. It absolutely can't.
I think we're going to have, and this is what's awful about it, we're going to have to push them to the point where they visit some sort of violence on our federal officials. If that happens, I think that gives the leeway for Donald Trump to roll in the National Guard, the real National Guard, and get some stuff done there. Until then, I think we're just going to be playing this political game of who can score more points, who can, watch the America's Palestinians continue to use propaganda in order to justify what they're doing.
Matter of fact, the tactics of the leftists in Minneapolis reek of Antifa. We'll kind of talk about what Los was just describing next on Extra 106.3, 8 o'clock hours, brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning. Your Atlanta carrier expert, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com.
Start your day with Tug and Los on the Morning Extra from 6 to 10. Then it's Glenn Beck, Clay and Buck at noon, and the Kimmer Show on your ride home from 3 to 6. And hang out every night for Jesse Kelly at 6 and Jimmy Fela at 9. And stream it all live in crystal clear HD on the Extra 106.3 app.
Faith, family, freedom. These are the cornerstones of America and the foundation for a successful life. But today, all three are under attack. Crushing debt, out-of-control spending, and reckless policies in Washington are threatening your savings, your retirement, and your future. Hi, this is Glenn Beck. The only financial advisory firm I recommend in Atlanta is Nicholas Wealth Management. David Nicholas and his team believe protecting your money is about more than wealth. It's about defending your faith, your family, and your freedom. If your hard-earned retirement is left exposed to market chaos, higher taxes, or inflation, what happens to the life you've worked so hard to build? For over 20 years, David Nicholas has helped families right here in Atlanta fight back with retirement strategies built to better withstand uncertainty. Call Nicholas Wealth Management today, 404-890-5606, or visit nicholaswealth.com. Aim to safeguard your future today.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. Glenn Beck is not a client and is paid for his endorsement.
This Valentine's Day, give a gift that says forever and a night out that says I thought of everything. Hi, I'm Jaron Solomon, and right now at Solomon Brothers, when you spend $9.99 or more, dinner at Michelin recommended Tiny Lou's is on us. Tiny Lou's is a chic French-American brasserie serving seasonally inspired French favorites, complemented by a French-focused wine list. It's intimate, retro chic, and the perfect setting for romance. So whether it's diamond studs, trendy layered necklaces, or the bracelet she's been hinting at, you're not just giving a gift. You're creating the whole evening. One stop, one perfect surprise. At Solomon Brothers, we don't just help you get Valentine's Day right. We help you earn credit for planning the whole thing in advance. Solomon Brothers Jewelers, Buckhead, Alpharetta, and Sharpsburg, helping Atlanta say I do and I love you since 1982.
Hi, I'm Chris Lalamia, owner of the Trusted Toolbox. Got a to-do list a mile long? No problem. We've got the ultimate solution, our Handyman for a Day program. Here's how it works. You get a skilled handyman dedicated to knocking out your honey-do list. Paint touch-ups, drywall repairs, door adjustments, and much more, all done in one day. Call us now before the rush for your Handyman for a Day, and call us at 770-623-3097 or visit us at thetrustedtoolbox.com. One call, one handyman, one day, The Trusted Toolbox.
So maybe you've been thinking about it, but maybe you've got the question wrong. For a lot of drivers, the question has been, should I go electric? Maybe the question is supposed to be, does it make sense for me? And right now with the new 2026 Toyota BZ, it's built to fit real life. And with an estimated 314-mile all-electric driving range, quick response, and we're talking 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds, and a quiet, comfortable ride, charge-at-home capabilities where you skip unnecessary stops, and you enjoy the drive. When you purchase at Marietta Toyota, you're buying from a dealership that's been part of the community since 1975. 3+ generations of car buyers who have realized Marietta Toyota does it better. Customer service beyond the sale is what they do. With the people in the service support to stand behind what you buy day in and day out. Right now, Marietta Toyota, 0% APR for 72 months, plus $3,500 bonus cash on a new 2026 BZ. Visit us on Cop Parkway South. Marietta Toyota. We've been here, and we'll be here for you.
0% APR for 72 months equals $1,389 for $1,000 finance with approved credit through Southeast Toyota Finance. Not all buyers will qualify. $3,500 bonus APR cash from SCTF requires financing with SCTF. Applied as a down payment. No cash back. Offer ends 2/2/26.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, January 26th, and here are your headlines. Georgia power crews are still working to restore electricity after the weekend ice storm knocked out power to thousands of customers across North and Metro Georgia. Crews are dealing with icy roads, fallen trees, downed power lines, with officials urging patience as conditions remain dangerous. The powerful ice storm that impacted Atlanta this weekend is still having effects, bringing hazardous travel conditions, school and event cancellations, and flight delays. Cherokee, Cobb, DeKalb, and Fulton were all listed as counties there is still an ice warning in effect in. Some sad news out of the University of Georgia. President Michael F. Adams has passed away overnight after serving the university for 16 years, helping shape the university's trajectory and leaving a lasting mark on the institution. And finally, a University of Georgia grad is headed back to the Super Bowl as Mike McDonald leads the Seattle Seahawks there in just his second season as head coach. McDonald coached at Cedar Shoals High School while earning his finance degree from UGA's Terry College of Business. He went on to serve as a graduate assistant and defensive quality control coach under Mark Richt from 2010 to 2014. Today's weather is a chilly one with a high of 33 and a low of 13. With your Extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
If you're tired of the cold and ice and ready for this to be behind us, let's give you something to do, something to look forward to. That is at the Georgia World Congress Center, February 6th through the 8th. It is the Dallas Safari Club Convention and Sporting Expo, the greatest outdoor convention on the planet. For more information or to buy your tickets, you can go to biggame.org. That's biggame.org. We've got a 4-pack of tickets to go to the Dallas Safari Club Convention and Sporting Expo at the Georgia World Congress Center for you. It is, again, February 6th through the 8th. 404-741-1230. We'll take caller number 3 if you would like to go. Maybe you're into the outdoors. This will be something to look forward to. 404-741-1230 is the number for that. All right, Los. We talked about the kind of the paramilitary operation that's going on as far as surveillance in Minneapolis. This is not just a haphazardly put together organization. This thing is running like a well-oiled machine with media members, employees of local businesses, all reporting on a signal chat where they feel like ICE has been. If they've spotted someone, they have a database of license plates and pictures and names. This is a Antifa-like operation. And that's what the United States Attorney Bill Essayl is saying about all this. He said Antifa tactics are on full display. What you're seeing is straight from their playbook to undermine the government, which is their goal. It's always their goal. It always will be their goal. First thing you do, agitate law enforcement. Get in their face, spit on them, assault them. Then trigger a response and use of force by law enforcement. Film it. And then publicize it out of context. Use the mainstream media, which is your ally, and social media to inflame the public with a false narrative. And then finally, trigger a riot to overthrow the government. It's exactly what you're seeing in Minneapolis, Los.
That's the game plan. And to know that what's going on here, we've seen around the world, and it's been used against our military. You know, for instance, if you ever read the book Black Hawk Down, yes. Part of the reason why that the Somalis knew about our troop movements is because they would post people all around, outside our base, all around the city, and they would use cell phones to contact one another to tell you when people were moving. All right, let's fast forward 30 years. The exact same tactics are being used on ICE, on federal agents, except now with signal chat, which is what they were using. They believe they were going to be secure there. They're getting real-time passing over of information of where they're heading to, what the license plates are. So, you think about, hey, we just got, if Tug and I are, ICE agents. And, hey, here's the address of the person we're going to go pick up today. Here is their order of deportation. Here's what they're accused of. Here's the crime that they committed. And we drive over there and we show up. Why do we suddenly have 10 activists there? It's not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Well, it's because they're running what's called parallel intelligence.
That's exactly right, man. So when people say, well, this is just people that are mad about ICE. These are just everyday concerned Minnesotans. This is just regular people out there.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. They're anything but, actually. They couldn't be more opposite of everyday Americans.
Well, the useful idiots.
But yeah, I'm sure there's some of them out there, without doubt.
The pawns go first, as we like to point out.
Yeah, because in case one of them were to be, I don't know, shot, then that doesn't affect the operation. That only affects them. And what are they going to do? If you're going by the Antifa playbook, you're going to get that force and use it out of context, which happened all day yesterday. You're going to use it out of context and create this fake narrative and try to trigger people. They want to get more people involved. So far, more people have not been involved because, as you had with the polling from Rasmussen, everybody stands behind, still to this day, stands behind what they voted for and what they're getting with the president.
Well, consider what happened with Renee Good and that her wife got out of the car and started filming her with the intention of she's going to cause an incident, we'll get it on, and then we'll be able to post it. It didn't work out that way.
No, it didn't.
But exactly what you said from the playbook. That's the Antifa playbook. That's what these people were taking part in.
And they'll continue it because it's working. The operation is working, at least on the. But I told you, I think it was last hour. There were some. It was all women. It was all women that showed up in my Facebook feed, and I just muted them. And their connections. I mean, like friendly connections. And I just don't want to see, and I don't want to respond, so I just mute it and or snooze it for 30 days or whatever it is.
How many of them bought into? ICE went ahead and kidnapped a 5-year-old last week.
Oh, yeah. That was last week, right? There's a few more that got muted then, too, or snoozed for 30 days.
Notice that one's gone away now.
Of course, because everybody knows that that's not the case. We know that the dad was being pursued by ICE. When he pulled up into his driveway with his kid in the car, he got out and ran. ICE actually took care of his child because he didn't. So that story, of course, is gone. And now we're on to, well, they killed in cold blood Alex Preddy. No, they didn't. Alex Preddy, a licensed concealed carrier, but he didn't have his license with him. He didn't have his ID on him. Why? Because those Antifa members are telling you not to carry your ID. That way, if you're arrested, it's harder to identify you when you get to the police station. So he didn't have any of those things. He didn't have legal standing when he decided to interfere with the operation. And then that's a felony to begin with. And then there's an additional felony, interfering with an operation while committing a felony. His legal standing was out the window. We had the attorney earlier that we played that laid it out for you step by step about why that was justified. Is it the shooting? I mean, is it awful? Is it tragic? Absolutely. It's terrible for his family because his family told him, do not do anything stupid. And Los, he did anyway.
They reportedly had told him they felt like he was going to be involved. He also reportedly had been, this is from his ex-wife, had been involved in everything from the George Floyd stuff to this stuff. Now, they had divorced 2 years ago, and she decided to move to another state. So I wonder when we find out a little bit more on that whole crazy thing. But I think what we're going to find is this is exactly what the communists are always looking for. This is what Antifa is trying to get. They're trying to get wayward souls that are highly influenceable, where you can mold them into what you want. And if they die, that's even better for them. Because so much of this is about propaganda. I refer to it as how this entire group of people, Antifa and the Communist Democrats, they've gone full Palestinian. You know, we saw some of their tactics that they used during their war with Israel, where it was, our kids are starving. Turns out they're not starving. Look at the violence. What was it? The guy who'd been killed by Israel 7 times.
Yes, that's right.
Then he was finally killed by Hamas.
Yes, that's right.
It's propaganda. they have gone full into how do we create victims. Now, they normally have to artificially do it, but if they can get real people who actually get hurt or killed, that's what they're striving for. And so when it came right down to it, Alex Pretty's parents had pretty good advice for him. Stay away from this stuff.
Yeah, do not engage. They said, don't take your firearm and do not engage. He did both of those things and committed a felony while doing those things.
And now he has holes in him.
And now he's dead.
And he won't see Christmas.
No, he won't.
Which is really the goal for all of us.
And the crazy thing is, and I just read a tweet from a woman named Shamika Michelle. We talked about how the group of people that you're seeing out there does not include minorities. They want no part of this, and good for them. They're smart. They're like me and you. I don't want no part of this. I want to see the president carry out what we voted for, which is taking 10 million illegals, at least, that Joe Biden let into the country and getting them out. We want to see the fraud stopped. We want to see all these things done. The border secured, promises made, promises delivered. But listen to what Shamika Michelle said. I'm starting to think my empathy button is broken. She's getting tired. She's getting weary, the same as you and I, and our patience for these Antifa-like protesters in Minneapolis is to the point where I'm like sick of it. I want the president just to put down the rebellion, because that's what it is.
I already hit my limit Saturday at some point as I'm reading through this and watching this, and really what it came down to was the more of the left that I can agitate, the better. And the more that I can tell them, listen, you're all just being used for this. And the goal of what this group is doing is for you to end up dead. And that shocks them, because they always think that they're, as the useful idiot, they're going to be part of the movement. They're going to be the ones who inherit power. They're going to be the ones that find themselves in a good place. No, you don't. That's not the history of communism.
Ever. It's never going to work out for you, pal.
It's always the party at the top. It's Tim Walz gets to ride away into the sunset and avoid federal prosecution, and so does his staff, and so do. But you know what? That's not going to bring Renee Good back, and it's not going to suddenly have Alex Pretty have Wolverine healing, and suddenly the 10 holes in his body are gone. But Tim Walz will get away with it.
Yeah,
and that's how communism works. And yet these people line up thinking they're going to be somehow special. You're not special.
And then the lieutenant governor, Peggy Flanagan, you think anything's going to happen to her for being an administrator on the Signal chat that operated this military-like network of people to sell out ICE agents, to sell out their fellow American, just going in there to do their job, to do what they were tasked to do, which is get rid of 10 million illegals in the country. And the crazy thing is, I guess I should make my point. Nothing is going to happen to her either. She's just fine because she's protected by Tim Walz, who's going to waltz away in the sunset.
It would take federal prosecution, a federal conspiracy case, because nothing will happen to them locally.
That's right.
Because the whole state is rotten.
But think about this, Los. When you think about the number of people that have been apprehended by ICE in Texas, in Georgia, in Florida, in New Orleans, in Tennessee, it dwarfs the number of people that have been taken out of Minneapolis, yet you're not seeing the same kind of insurrection up there that you are down there in those states as you are in Minnesota.
Cooperation with federal authorities, with federal law. This isn't like somebody just made this up. These are all laws on our books. This is how things are done. It is actually a rarity to have a local municipality decide we are not going to work with these people at all.
Barack Obama said that the federal government need to work with the state government on this. And I'm thinking to myself, Barack Obama, you are being disingenuous right now. You know that the state government is not and has refused to work with the federal government. Why are you leaving that out conveniently? Why are you stirring the pot to make it even worse? Because you're a communist and you know it. You love seeing what's happening in Minneapolis. That's what you've been hoping for since you were president.
To the point last night, and we haven't really gotten a chance to jump into this. So last night, activists, not protesters, activists, they showed up at a hotel and busted out the windows because they believed ICE was staying there. And they were. Now, ICE calls upon the local police. Hey, we got an incident going on at this hotel. Things are deteriorating. One federal agent goes to the front door. He's fully armed, and he's basically letting them all know it's time to get back or people are going to get shot. No Minneapolis police.
No.
Because the local politicians, the local sheriff, everybody has told them, stand down, don't help the feds.
It's unreal, man. If that's not an actual insurrection, I don't know what one looks like. If this is not a rebellion, I don't know what one looks like. And this has to be dealt with. And I don't know when Donald Trump and the federal government pulls the trigger on like an insurrection act or some act that gives them the ability to go in and just fix the problem and override the state of Minnesota. I don't know when that happens, but it's got to be soon. This cannot continue the way it's going, Los.
No, this is at some point we're going to have a breaking point, and that's really what Antifa's trying to push for. That's what the Democrats are trying to push for. That's where when you have a guy like James Comer, well, I don't really know if we should be able to handle.
Oh God, James Comer, what are you talking about?
Chicken-ass Republicans. If you have a clarity of what we're going up against, then you'll have a clarity of this is what it's going to take to defeat it. And it's not just going to be some mean words or, hey, we got a couple. You have to destroy their network. And that is what is happening right now. That taking down the Signal chat last night and then basically putting them on the run where some of them started talking about how they had to get out of the state because they're worried about federal prosecution.
Yeah.
That's how you break this stuff up.
Morning Extra and Extra 1063. When we continue, how you know that Alex Preddy was a domestic terrorist. Next on the Morning Extra.
Extra 1063 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, January 26th. From the NFL, the Super Bowl is now set as the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks will match up in nearly 2 weeks. The Patriots beat the Broncos in Denver 10-7 to take the AFC crown in a driving blizzard. The Seahawks, they outlasted the Rams in Seattle 31-27, including a fourth quarter goal line stand to win the NFC Championship. From the NBA, the Atlanta Hawks are in action today as the game time for tonight's matchup with the visiting Indiana Pacers has been moved up due to ice storms and inclement weather in the area. The new tip-off time is this afternoon and is set for 1:30. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
You're setting a lot of goals for 2026, big plans, new adventures, and Subaru of Gwinnett has the vehicles to get you there. The 2026 Subaru Forester is the same reliable SUV that's earned the trust of drivers for decades, but with more adventurous style and more advanced safety technology. And you'll love exploring in the 2026 Subaru Crosstrek. It gives you up to 34 miles per gallon and the power of a 182 horsepower Subaru Boxer engine, adding plenty of go to your adventures. The 2026 Subaru Outback shares your adventurous spirit. With up to 32 miles per gallon and 9.5 inches of ground clearance, you can explore your world with confidence. And the 2026 Subaru Legacy is what happens when we put the best of Subaru into a sedan. A turbocharged 260 horsepower Subaru Boxer engine makes driving a thrill. Love is out there. Find it at Subaru of Gwinnett, Satellite Boulevard in Duluth, or shop online at SubaruofGwinnett.com.
Hello.
Hey, is this Mike Fitzgerald?
No, I think you have the wrong number. Wish I could help you.
Well, you could if you were Mike Fitzgerald.
Who is Mike Fitzgerald?
Mike Fitzgerald is the only realtor I'll talk to because he can sell my house fast for a great price and even in this market.
Yeah, I'm definitely not Mike Fitzgerald.
Oh, I figured that out because Mike Fitzgerald would have sold my house already.
Need to sell your home? You need Mike Fitzgerald from the Harry Norman Realtors team, exclusive Georgia members of Forbes Global Properties. Learn more at MikeFitzgeraldRealty.com. That's where you'll find Mike Fitzgerald.
The Georgia Department of Transportation and Governor's Office of Highway Safety remind drivers and pedestrians to share the road. Georgia law requires drivers to stop for pedestrians in crosswalks. Drive safely so everyone can cross safely. See and be seen. Pedestrians should use crosswalks when available, cross at an intersection, and wear bright colored clothing when walking at night. Whether behind the wheel or on foot, expect the unexpected. Drive the speed limit, heads up, phones down and look before you cross. Sponsored by the Georgia DOT.
Braves fans, get ready because Braves Fest is back on January 31st, presented by Delta. And there's a great lineup of events and activities for everyone to enjoy. This free Fan Fest includes returning fan favorites like player photo ops, catch on the field, the Braves fashion show, bowling with the Braves, and more. And fans can enjoy new additions like the player walk and rally to lead off the day, Braves country karaoke, live podcast recordings, and the list goes on. Plus, player autograph sessions are now on sale for purchase. And on Friday, January 30th, dust off your denim and diamonds and join the Braves for the Braves Fest Country Gala, presented by Truist. This high-energy rodeo night benefits the Atlanta Braves Foundation and offers exclusive access to your Braves players. Cowboys and cowgirls can brand their own hats. Enjoy live music and line dancing and so much more. Visit Braves.com/BravesFest to learn more. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves country.
Thousands of veterans across Georgia are missing out on the benefits they've earned through their service. The Warrior Alliance is changing that by connecting veterans and their families to life-changing resources and support. Tune into the Warrior Alliance Network, our podcast and radio show dedicated to helping veterans succeed after service. Join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. on 106.3 to hear inspiring veteran stories, discover free programs, and learn about career opportunities available to you. Subscribe to the Warrior Alliance YouTube channel today.
Fox on Tech.
Tesla wants its drivers to do less driving. The EV car company headed up by Elon Musk is discontinuing its assisted driver program called Autopilot, which helped to keep the vehicle centered in the lane and provided a speed-adjusting cruise control. Instead, Tesla is transitioning its full self-driving software from an expensive purchase to a much less expensive monthly subscription. Full self-driving, or FSD for short, automatically steers, accelerates, slows, and brakes using smart tech to understand traffic flow and control devices, even pavement markings. FSD still requires drivers to be alert and involved, but Elon Musk says newer cars in the future will be fully full self-driving, with motorists being able to do other tasks while riding, maybe even take a nap. Tesla's autonomous robo-taxis are already providing hailable rides with no human driver in parts of Austin, Texas. With Fox on Tech, I'm Eben Brown, Fox News.
Atlanta legends are only on Extra 106.3 with the one and only Kimmer on your ride home every afternoon.
If you're talking mayors and governors of a state, looking you in the eye through the TV camera and lying because they want to keep power, and they don't care about truth or justice. And these are the same people that would put you and me and anyone who thinks like us in camps or worse. Because if they can do that to an ICE agent, what do you think they'll do to you, John Q. Public?
It's the Kimmer Show on Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Remember, tomorrow, one of those legendary voices will be on Extra 106.3 about 7:25. You'll get the one and only Neil Bortz, and I have a feeling he will be ready and raring to go. 7:25 tomorrow. Or if you ever miss him, you can get him on the app.
I'm sure he won't have anything inflammatory to say about what is going on over the weekend.
By no means. He's so...
He'll want to talk about Carson Beck's tattoos.
That's right. He's so measured. That Neil Bort's so measured. I bet he'll agree that Alex Preddy was a domestic terrorist, Los. I bet he'll agree with you on that.
You know, I was thinking about it in these terms. Like, for instance, when I started getting some of the information that the administration was putting out, I was like, nah, I don't buy that one. In terms of, if you tell me, well, you know, Alex Preddy scrubbed his social media, I would say, well, there's a lot of people that when they get divorced, they scrub their social media. I mean, that's one of the things that attorneys tell you to do. It's like, scrub your social media, stay off your social media, don't be on social media. That doesn't jump out to me. Wearing tactical gear to an incident, I don't know. Some people like cosplay. If I could dress up like every day, like I don't know, like lumberjack fireman, I would. The other day when Tug and I did it, felt kind of cool. Being armed with a gun, Tug and I have been very adamant about it. We're both believer in the Second Amendment. If you have all the legal documents and you are doing it responsibly, by all means, carry a gun. Unfortunately, Alex Preddy was not at the time as far as carrying his legal documents, so he didn't have legal standing. But here is what gives it away for me. He was part of the Signal chat showed up not to protest. He showed up to follow around ICE agents, and he was carrying around extra magazines as if he was prepared for a shootout. He was prepared for something to go down. Yeah. That's when I went, alarm, domestic terrorist, right there. Not the other stuff. The other stuff is fine. Had he been at a regular protest, Tug, I'd been like, all right, cool, have at it. Cosplay as a military tactician. Have your gun, scrub your social media, all that stuff. But you showed up through a signal chat to go stalk ICE agents, and you didn't come with just one magazine.
No, that's right. And this signal chat is one that had been used. There's so many names on it now. Some of the journalists have cracked it and gotten in. And because of that, James O'Keefe, you brought this up earlier, James O'Keefe, because they knew about him. They knew where he was. They knew the make of the car he was driving. They knew the tag numbers. He knew everything.
Shocked, too, by the way.
He was, absolutely. And probably even a little frightened. Because knowing what these people are capable of and knowing what they want to do, they told him, we will kill you. Not we're going to flatten your tires, not we're going to burn your car down. We're going to murder you. That's where these people are. It was that signal chat that Los is talking about that Alex Preddy was a part of.
Now, let's also point out, and this is where I say domestic terrorists, that time period of which that they were checking what they were checking. And this is from 0 Hour. 0 Hour and Cam Higbee are two guys that have infiltrated. Yeah, it infiltrated this entire signal chat. They got in, and they got all the data, and they saved everything in there. 0 Hour pointed out they have illegally captured 5,000 license plates in the signal group.
5,000.
That 5, is a giant no-no.
Yeah, that's right. Illegal.
That is where we're talking about whether or not the state is involved, because you are now, I would imagine, using DMV technology to cross-reference, here's the license plate and who it belongs to. And sure enough, like, it'll tell you if it's tagged as like an ICE vehicle or if it's tagged as another different vehicle. In this case, they were also trying to find out, hey, who are some people that might be prominent that are part of our industry, conservative news, conservative information. Let's make sure we're tracking them and trying to either scare them or, in James O'Keefe's case, threaten to kill him.
Yeah, intimidate him to the point where he's like, do I want to continue doing this? And James O'Keefe, obviously being a pretty brave guy, has said, I don't care. I'm going to continue, as are the others that you mentioned a little bit earlier. But you're seeing it at hotels, because we talked about how they were breaking the doors down at hotels. We want to intimidate these people so badly. And the rioters are vandalizing cars at every hotel, every one of them, just hoping that they will get an ICE agent. So let's say you accidentally stay at the wrong hotel. You're just there for your kids' volleyball tournament.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, your car is vandalized and, in the worst case, destroyed because they want to make sure they get an ICE agent. And if you're collateral damage, too bad.
And I'll tell you, Tug, it's interesting that you bring that up, because in one of the volleyball chats that I'm part of, there is a bigger tournament that's going to be in Minneapolis, in downtown, this weekend. It's not a qualifier, which is like the biggest tournaments, but it's still a good sized tournament. And the local club there, Northern Lights, they're recognized as being a very good club. They've already had to issue a statement to everyone in the community, basically saying, we're doing the tournament. They started talking about protesters and ICE, talking about how they won't have any business here anyway, how they're having to add armed security to the building, which we've never had armed security for the building. And so it's pretty wild to see that you do have parents that are looking at this thing and going, all right, I'm supposed to be there. How crazy is this place supposed to be right now?
Yeah. It's the crazy thing is those people don't care that you're there for a volleyball tournament. They don't care. You're part of the problem.
What's your rental look like?
That's exactly right. If it falls into a category that we think it might be ICE, we're going to destroy it. We don't care. They care more about a domestic abuser, because that's what got Alex Preddy shot. He was trying to interrupt an operation where ICE was going to get a domestic abuser. And I brought this up a couple times. I'll say it again. If you had a domestic abuse case next door, would you impede the officers going in? Of course the answer is no. What makes you think this is different? Maybe it's Tim Walz. Maybe it's him saying, oh, they're not law enforcement. Yes, they are. Yes, they are, Tim Walz. Just because you won't have any repercussions, you know nothing is going to happen to them, or nothing is going to happen to you, you'll allow it to happen to the street communist, the one that is doing your bidding. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But there is a bigger goal. How do we topple the United States? I know you're thinking I'm just making this up. No, they're not there to try to topple the United States. This is where it all begins. They are trying to get it done. These are communists. That's what they want to do ultimately. Do I think just by what they're doing in Minnesota will do that? No, but it is part of a bigger plan. It is all part of a bigger operation.
I would love if, like, you ever sat down and you know, whether it's Alex Pretty's parents or somebody that cared about him, and be like, all right, I'm going to give you a list here, and you can check which box. Did Alex Pretty die for the communists of Minnesota to cover up their fraud? Did he die for protecting domestic violence abusers? Did he die for the idea of taking out the United States of America and remaking it in the way that Antifa sees fit? Did he? And it's like, and you figure out which one, it's worth it. And that's going to point out just how either nutty or how much of a useful idiot he was. Yeah. Because it's one of these. Maybe it's multitudes, but it's not. It's not because, well, he had a good heart. And nobody in that Signal chat is sitting there with a good heart. They are tried and true. They're not even activists. They are hardcore communists trying to push a narrative and then push their big push for policy change so that they can have more power and implement more communism.
It's absolutely nuts, man. And it's unacceptable. And I think most people see it. That's why the polling hasn't changed on it. Most people see it, and nobody wants to live like they are in Minneapolis. Nobody wants to live in a third world country. I think this is going to do more damage to the Democrats than they even realize. This is the Morning Xtra at Extra 106.3. 8 o'clock hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. When we come back, the first thing you need to know this morning is the details out of Minneapolis and the terror network that is being used on Extra.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
His name is Alex Pretty. He's a 37-year-old ICU nurse, Minneapolis. More accurately, he was a nurse. That's the news story over the weekend. But let's go back to how this happened. Who are these people protesting ICE? When Obama and Hillary and Biden and Harris all express their desire for illegals to be deported, the left did not complain. But when Donald Trump all of a sudden started doing it, well, as that idiot governor of Wisconsin says, it is the Holocaust all over again. You see interviews all the time where somebody delivers a quote about deporting illegal aliens, tells the person being interviewed that Trump said it, and ask them what they think. Oh, it's just horrible. But then they say, oh, by the way, it wasn't Trump. It was Obama that said that. And all of a sudden, not so bad. These protesters in Minneapolis are protesting ICE because they're operating under Trump's authority. That is the main reason. It is all anti-Trump, Trump derangement syndrome. So what happened to Mr. Pretty? He shows up at a protest against ICE. For some reason, he shows up carrying a gun. Then he confronts an ICE agent who was arresting a criminal illegal alien. ICE agents notice that he is armed. They do what you would expect, and Pretty ends up dead. That's sad. I love nurses, especially ICU nurses. But even a nurse has to abide by the law of fool around and find out. See, I cleaned that up a little bit. Don't interfere with the legal efforts of law enforcement personnel arresting a criminal. It might not end up well for you. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Hi, it's Los, here with Tom Mitchell, the Honest Car Guy. Tom, you are changing the way people are buying their next pre-owned car or truck. How are you doing it?
You know, Los, we found a better way for customers to buy a car. An honest way, a very transparent way. You pay what we pay plus our honest fee.
How do you prove that?
We even prove it to you by giving you a copy of the bill of sale at the end of the deal.
How much can people save when they buy their next vehicle with the Honest Car Guy?
I've saved people upwards of $20,000 and $30,000. I mean, it really depends on the year, the make, the model of the car, and the price of the car. You know, on a $15,000 car, I can't save you $20,000. We can probably save you $2,000 or $3,000. But it's through the course of the whole sale. The big one here that people don't realize, the financing. You go into the dealership, they tell you your rate's 9%, or really it's probably 7% because they're allowed to make 2 points on there. The Honest Car Guy, you'll save an average of $5,000 to $10,000 depending on the price of the car.
Folks, if you want to save thousands on your next pre-owned car or truck, try the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or honestcarguy.com.
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is Extra 1063. We're at XTRA 1063 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Extra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Extra 1063 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice. Streaming across Georgia on the Extra 1063 app. This is WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey Broadcasting Station. Extra 1063.
Digging out from New Mexico to New England. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
This is historic levels of snow and ice, and then following up with single-digit temperatures today, tonight, tomorrow.
Governor Bill Lee in Tennessee, where there are the most power outages, almost a third of the more than 800,000 homes and businesses that allowed electricity this morning across the South and Mid-Atlantic. Fox Weather's Bane Fronies in Dallas, Texas.
We've seen crews out here since yesterday trying to improve the roadways so that folks can get back on them and able to get back to work, back to school.
Well, schools are closed from there up to New England. Some areas got over a foot of snow. At least 9 people have died in the storm, including a teenager killed in a sledding accident in Texas. There may be even more deaths. A private plane went down during the snow last night and then caught fire in Maine.
The FAA writing, quote, a Bombardier Challenger 600 crashed as it was taking off from Bangor International Airport in Maine around 7:45 local time. 8 people were on board, and we still don't have a status report on those 8 that were on that plane.
Fox's Brian Yennis monitoring from Boston, where there are a lot of flights canceled again today. The storm still making air travel difficult. Nearly 4,000 cancellations the day after 11,000 plus flights were grounded. President Trump's just posted on Truth Social he's sending border czar Tom Homan to Minnesota, where the anti-ICE protest got even angrier after a protester was shot dead over the weekend. Democratic officials in the state got a judge to order evidence be preserved.
The president told the Wall Street Journal the administration was reviewing the incident that led to the death of Alex Preddy. Several members of the administration defended the shooting of Preddy, saying he was carrying a gun. But several videos of the incident show a federal officer pulling a gun away from Preddy, then opening fire on the unarmed man.
Fox's Jill Nato. Hours after Israel launched an operation in Gaza to find the remains of the last dead hostage Hamas took in the terror attack that triggered the war, a body's been located. America's listening to Fox News.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Ben Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G coverage. What? Franklin wasn't even a president. Hang on to those Benjamins. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, to switch to an American wireless company that's truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Coffee, keys, and extra 1063. That's how I get to work and home.
Oh, yeah. Morning, y'all. Anytime you start an hour with the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, it's a good day. Tug and Los here with you, singing along. Seeing the sun come out, it's good to see. I don't think it's going to warm up very much today. I think the temperatures around Metro Atlanta is going to stay under like 25
Feels
degrees.
like 8 right now. I just checked.
Did you? Okay, yeah. Bryce is trying to keep us updated on the weather outside. But, yeah, feels like 8. I know the temperatures around town are going to stay well below freezing.
May I give you my update?
Yeah, because, well, and know that Los is in North Forsyth.
Forsyth.
He's got people, he sent me a video of people ice skating in his front yard. Or no, in the cul-de-sac.
In the cul-de-sac, they were actually ice skating out there. Yeah, if you go just down the road, you get into the whole Dawsonville area. So that's how far north I am. So the neighbors who have ventured out, flat out said, the street in order to get to, in this case, it'd be Matt Highway. They're like, it's kind of iffy. They're like, Matt Highway's generally okay, but surprisingly, they said 400 from exit 18 to 14 is only one lane, and you shouldn't get out of that lane unless you want to end up in a ditch. And apparently there's cars on each side of 400 from exit 18 to 14.
Goodness gracious. I know, because I came down, I got on at 10 there at Old Milton Parkway, 400 southbound, and it was wide open, man. It was easy breezy, no problems at all. 285 was good. Cobb Parkway's been good. And then a coworker of ours, Matt, producer down at 680 The Fan, came up 75 southbound, or I guess it came down 75 southbound from Calhoun. He said it's good there, but those side streets like Los is talking about, and then now, because I didn't even know that, from 18 to 14, one lane on Georgia 400. So if you can stay at home,
or at least as they put it, one dependable lane.
There you go. One dependable lane. You know, it gets really iffy if you move over.
But it is crazy because we're right in that weird point.
Yeah.
You know, when we heard from David Chanley, who kept saying we want to see where this pocket reaches, that it was heading down I-85, and we had to see where it reached. It definitely, when it comes to 10 miles, south from me, all the way further up, that's where it is.
Yeah, that's where the crease.
We had so much more stuff. We were sending videos to people. They were talking about, I was paying attention to one of a former coworker of mine. He said he lost power, and he's like, so I just decided to drive over to $3 Cafe. I was like, you drove down the street? Yeah, because it was fine over there.
Yeah.
You couldn't drive down the street anywhere around here.
Yeah, that's great. And talking about that, I didn't see one car in my neighborhood yesterday. Everybody hunkered down and bunkered down. Nobody left the house, which was smart.
Yeah, I live in a cul-de-sac. I've yet to see anyone pull their car out.
Yeah, that's right, and they probably won't for a little while. But otherwise, I think we dodged a huge bullet for the majority of Metro Atlanta. Now, off to the east, like north where Los is, North Forsyth, Hall County, Dawson, all those counties, and then out east toward Athens, man, those areas got hit pretty hard. No, a lot of power outages out that way. So prayers up for them. Hopefully they're safe and warm. We didn't do anything yesterday.
Did y'all even have a flicker?
No.
Like, did you ever have a moment? Because we had a couple of those where I thought, uh-oh.
Yeah, you're thinking, oh, man, if the power grid goes down, this is bad news. No, we didn't, and we were prepared. We even lit a fire just in case and didn't even need it. You know, we were in good shape. We just enjoy a fire, so it worked out in our favor there. But everything ended up just fine. As far as us in Alpharetta, north of that, things got a little more shaky. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. If you were at home, there was probably plenty of time to keep up with the insanity that is happening in Minneapolis, and that is the first thing to know this morning.
Way out west, there's a show, the Morning Extra.
Which one?
The Morning Extra. Tug so bold.
Yes, I am.
Deep in the story.
Just start adding in lyrics. He loves this song. Dude, this is my favorite one of all of them. I do. Mainly because it says my name. I never had a song say my name before. But there is all kinds of craziness that's coming out of Minneapolis, and we've talked about it this morning, and we'll continue as new people join the show. Maybe getting up and getting you a cup of coffee and stirring a little bit. If you've not gone into the office listening from home, we appreciate you checking in. 106.3 FM, 1230 AM on the Extra 106.3 app or extra1063.com. Another shooting. And I don't think people understand what goes on around that shooting, Los, how we got to that point. And I've been reading a post by a former Green Beret, guy named Eric Schwalm.
Oh, I saw this. This is a good one, please.
Dude, it is nuts. He says, as a former Special Forces warrant officer with multiple rotations running counterinsurgency ops, both hunting insurgents and trying to separate them from sympathetic population, I've seen organized resistance up close. From Anbar to Helmand, this pattern is familiar. Spotters, cutouts, dead drops or modern equivalents. Disciplined comms, role specialization, and the willingness to absorb casualties while bleeding the stronger force slowly. I mean, this thing is several paragraphs. I'll scoot down to the thing that stood out to me the most. It's domestic this time, funded, trained somewhere, and directed by people who live in the same community and country that they're trying to paralyze law enforcement in. Let those words sink in. Try to paralyze law enforcement. Who is law enforcement? ICE. Even though Tim Walz says, oh, no, they're not law enforcement. Yes, they are, Tim Walz.
Yes, they are, Tim.
That's the silliest thing you could say. He's saying that knowing that it will encourage people to continue to try to paralyze those officers. And the man who was shot and killed, Alex Priddy, he is a victim of that, willing to take those casualties, willing to take those injuries just so they can use this signal chat, this military-style operation. 1,000 members are in the Signal group. It was capped. It's capped, I guess, from Signal. And then they completely wipe the Signal chat as they invite more people into other rooms. Dude, this is the most well-organized, well-orchestrated thing that the United States may have ever seen, and you likened it to what happened in Afghanistan, and you're exactly right, Los.
There's something else that Eric Schwalm pointed out that I want to read this part too. It says, you're facing a distributed resistance that's learned the lessons of successful insurgencies. Stay below the kinetic threshold most of the time, force overreaction when possible, maintain popular support through the narrative, and never present a single center of gravity. That was what was so important about what happened with the Signal chat and why you're not going to see it on any major news network, because that showed that not only do we have what essentially is, it's not even protesters. You have activists that are acting as insurrectionists. You now have the state government of Minnesota involved. This is now conspiracy. This is how you get after these people. They showed their weakness last night with their Signal chat. Credit to Cam Higbee and the 0 Hour, who both were able to infiltrate and then get all the information out of there and make it public.
Dude, it's unbelievable what's happening. I don't think people understand the depths of it. They just see, maybe they think, yeah, those are agitators. Those are paid protesters. I get it. But I don't think the average American understands the depth of what we just shared with them. The fact that this is so well organized and so well funded and so well trained. We've seen now the Signal chat. We've seen the manuals. We've seen how you involve Antifa tactics. We've seen all of those things being used in the city of Minneapolis. This is greater than I even thought, Los. I'll even say, I knew all of it was bad, and I knew it was funded, I knew it was organized, but I had no idea the depths until last night and this morning.
I knew that they were using this technology because we saw this in the Charlie Kirk murder. They've been using different, whether it was Discord in one case or Signal in this one, in order to coordinate what they're doing. And to see, because the question's always been, well, why are these people getting to the places where ICE has an operation? Because if I wanted to go and be a constitutional observer, whatever they call themselves to make it seem like it's legit, I would know the first place to go. I don't know, go to a Home Depot and like just wait and see if anybody shows up at the parking lot. Like, I wouldn't know what to do. But these people, just as Eric Schwalm is telling you about, they have spotters. They have a network. They have made it a point that as soon as ICE goes on the move, they track them and in real time make their information available to everyone else in the chat to take part in this sort of stuff. This is organized. At the very least, it's organized, and I would say probably well-financed and well-organized.
Well, speaking of the financing, Data Republican has put together a spreadsheet of over 4,000-plus donors and their possible identities. Because a lot of this, she says, is coming from Canada. A lot of it coming from George Soros, which we now know George Soros never spent a dollar of his own money. He actually spent your money because it was being laundered back to him through different NGOs, through the Leering Centers. That's, of course, why the governor of Minneapolis, or the governor of Minnesota and the mayor of Minneapolis, that's why they're so adamant about fanning these flames. Because as long as we're focused on what's happening with the ICE, with the ICE attacks and the way people are treating those ICE agents, those communists, the street thugs that are doing the things that they're doing, they know they don't have to worry about anybody paying attention to all the incredible amounts of fraud, $8 billion worth of fraud, that even the AG Keith Ellison was on recorded tape saying, yeah, I'll take the kickback. That is what's being reported. Of course they want this to continue. Of course they're welcoming those donors and those military-style operations because they know they are so screwed if anybody starts paying attention to the actual fraud.
And let's be clear. We have people that were January 6th that were put into prison who were never there. And what did the federal government do? The federal government used them and their correspondence in group chats, the people that were there, as a method of being able to say, look, they were in on this conspiracy. This is what they did. That is why you had that Signal chat. Just everybody jumped out of it as quickly as possible yesterday.
Yeah,
they know.
They know they're screwed. They know they've been caught.
They know. Hey, you just got caught. This is what an operation. Maybe we'll get into it. We talked about COINTELPRO, counterintelligence program. 6 months ago, 8 months ago, about a program that was basically done under J. Edgar Hoover. It was basically used to break up communist rings. That's exactly what happened yesterday. That's how big of a story that is. And yet, and again, because it goes all the way to the governor's mansion.
Dude, the lieutenant governor is supposedly, it's being reported, alleged that she is a administrator in that Signal chat.
And started getting rid of her social media last night once that became public.
James O'Keefe, the reporter, everybody knows who James O'Keefe is, has done incredible work, independent journalist. He has talked about how organized the protests are. He said they have a network like he's never seen before. People as far as 30 minutes away giving tips to leftist agitators. You know, this AstroTurf, as far as the so-called protesters, it's mostly crazy libs, crazy communists. Listen to James O'Keefe.
This is James O'Keefe in downtown Minneapolis. We have a team of undercover reporters still inside the mob. I was at the scene of the shooting covering it this morning, and basically we barely got out of there alive. There were a few hundred that surrounded us, started throwing ice bottles at us. A few hit us, hit our vehicle. They were starting to rip off my bulletproof vest, so we got out of there. We were followed, we were tailed, and here we are right now. We just got this message, and it says, we know that you're in Minneapolis. You're with O'Keefe and his crew of Nazis. You're in a white Ford license plate. They actually wrote the license plate down from Florida. You have 1 hour to leave or you're dead. You have 1 hour to leave or you're dead. We are going to produce our footage, gathering everything we've got from this weekend. We're going to put our report together along with the hidden camera footage that we have. We still have undercover people in the field. Please pray for my team's safety. This is worse than anything I could have possibly imagined. I have security with me, former Marine, and he said that it was worse than overseas, and it was certainly anything worse than I've seen the cartel at the border. We're going to contact law enforcement, DHS, and the FBI, and we're going to try to get out of here safely so we can bring the news to you. Stay tuned for our report coming Tuesday.
Dude, he said worse. Listen to this again. He said this that's happening in Minneapolis is worse than the cartels he saw on the border and the terrorists that were operating in places like Afghanistan.
Yeah, because the cartels aren't tracking you the moment you happen to drive on the street. In fact, the cartels are like, if you're not a factor, well, then it's fine. You're just not a factor. To these people, they're screening everyone. And if anything shows up on their radar, they immediately go into hunter mode. And notice, first thing, you and your Nazis. Why does he call them Nazis? It's easier to hurt them and kill them.
That's right. Yeah, you take their humanity away. And then you can do that. That's why they said, James O'Keefe, we will kill you. We will kill you. We're going to do what we're going to do in spite of you. If you get in our way, you're nothing more than a roadblock. That's what you are. That's how they take that humanity away.
And it would be, I don't know, you would think, hey, maybe James O'Keefe is sensationalizing all this stuff. And then you actually have to see how ICE has to conduct themselves, where they actually have to hide out to figure out like where to stay at a hotel. Because they can't do it publicly, right, or else these nutsos show up trying to kill them.
As we saw last night. As we saw
last night. And why do you think they don't? Why do you think they wear masks? Yeah. Why do they wear masks? Because your side wants to kill them, and they're not law enforcement,
and very vocal about it. And then you have the leader of the ring, what seems like the leader of the ring, and Tim Wall saying, "Oh, those federal agents, they're not law enforcement. You don't have to listen to them." Why would you say that to people that live in your state if you care about them at all? Which we know he doesn't. Why would you say that? Because they will do the things that you want them to do. If you take the humanity of the officers away, you take the authority of the officers away, you will do their bidding. And that's for the useful idiots. Obviously, the people that are involved and on the Signal chat, they know exactly what they're doing. I mean, terrorist-style insurgency. They're using those same tactics in an American city.
Yep.
If this is not an insurrection, I don't know what is. When you look at January 6th and the fact that no one was armed and there were stanchions saying, here's the pathway to walk, and then you compare it to Minneapolis, there's no similarities. There's nothing that even looks the same.
Yeah, it's a bunch of people that get caught up in a riot. This is an organized insurrection.
An actual insurrection.
Trying to actually kill their enemies. That is their goal.
Libs only care about looking moral, not actually being moral. We got that, and we'll go by the numbers on why the Democrats are so wrong on sports next on Extra 106.3.
When political discourse gets ugly, count on Extra 106.3 to be the voice of reason when tempers flare. The violent rhetoric from the left won't change our mission. It won't affect our hearts, and it won't stop us from being the voice of our community. Proud to be the conservative voice of Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Hi, it's Los, here with Tom Mitchell, the honest car guy. Tom, you are changing the way people are buying their next pre-owned car or truck. How are you doing it?
Los, we found a better way for customers to buy a car. An honest way, a very transparent way. You pay what we pay plus our honest fee.
How do you prove that?
We even prove it to you by giving you a copy of the bill of sale at the end of the deal.
How much can people save when they buy their next vehicle with the honest car guy?
I've saved people upwards of $20,000 and $30,000. I mean, it really depends on the year, the make, the model of the car, and the price of the car. On a $15,000 car, I can't save you $20,000. we can probably save you $2,000 or $3,000. But it's through the course of the whole sale. The big one here that people don't realize, the financing. You go into the dealership, they tell you your rate's 9%. Well, really, it's probably 7% because they're allowed to make 2 points on there. The Honest Car Guy, you'll save an average of $5,000 to $10,000 depending on the price of the car.
Folks, if you want to save thousands on your next pre-owned car or truck, try the Honest Car Guy. Call 844-SHOW-ME-1. That's 844-SHOW-ME, the number 1, or honestcarguy.com.
Hey, this is John Flading. I'm the president and owner of ATL Turf Co. We have become a highly sought-after turf installation company in the Atlanta and North Georgia luxury residential market. Big reason for that is our installers are ATL Turf Co. employees. We do not outsource labor. They are trained to be experts in the turf installation process, drainage, grading. Just go to atlturfco.com to schedule an appointment.
Hey Atlanta, it's Mark from Atlanta Safe House. It's 2026 and it's going to be a great year. So let's start the year off with a quiz. So what's the difference in a criminal and a socialist Democrat? Well, a criminal wants to steal your stuff, but a socialist Democrat wants to steal your freedom. So let's talk about safes. The Atlanta Safe House has the largest selection of safes in the Southeast. Brands like Browning, Champion, and Fort Knox. With over 500 safes in stock, we are the place to buy a safe. So come by the showroom or go to atlantasafehouse.com.
All righty, new year, clean slate, and if one of those resolutions is to finally fix those ugly, drafty windows, well, it's a cover with your solution. I've been talking about Peach State Windows for years because I know the owner, Jeff, personally. Jeff and his wife been friends for like 25 years. Family-owned company, been doing Georgia business for homeowners for something like 50 years. Here's the deal now, listen up, because it's real. It's real, continues into the new year right now. You get 8 premium double-hung Energy Star replacement windows fully installed for just $39.95. That's 8 windows installed for under $4,000. These windows are beauties, built for Georgia heat, storms, humidity. Jeff knows homes and construction codes. Get it right the first time. PeachStateWindows.com for details. That's PeachStateWindows.com. Here's the number, 770-485-8011. Hey, how about this? 0% financing for up to 12 months. Peach State Windows, 770-485-8011. Make the uglies go away. PeachStateWindows.com.
This is House Call for Health. January is Glaucoma Awareness Month. It's the leading cause of vision loss and blindness in the country. And according to the National Institutes of Health, as many as half of the people who have it don't even know they have it because there are no early symptoms. The only way to check for it is a comprehensive eye exam. There's also no cure, but early treatment can help stop vision loss. The National Eye Institute describes glaucoma as a group of eye diseases that damage the optic nerve, starting with loss of peripheral or side vision. It's often referred to as the silent thief of sight because most don't notice that early vision loss. Those at higher risk include people over age 60, African Americans over age 40, Asian Americans, Hispanics, and Latinos, as well as those with a family history of the disease. Glaucoma can be treated with medicines, laser treatment, or even surgery. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines.
It's Monday, January 26th, and here are your headlines. Georgia power crews are still working to restore electricity after the weekend ice storm knocked out power to thousands of customers across North and Metro Georgia. Crews are dealing with icy roads, fallen trees, downed power lines, with officials urging patience as conditions remain dangerous. The powerful ice storm that impacted Atlanta this weekend is still having effects, bringing hazardous travel conditions, school and event cancellations, and flight delays. Cherokee, Cobb, DeKalb, and Fulton were all listed as counties there is still an ice warning in effect in. Some sad news out of the University of Georgia. President Michael F. Adams has passed away overnight after serving the university for 16 years, helping shape the university's trajectory and leaving a lasting mark on the institution. And finally, a University of Georgia grad is headed back to the Super Bowl as Mike McDonald leads the Seattle Seahawks there in just his second season as head coach. McDonald coached at Cedar Shoals High School while earning his finance degree from UGA's Terry College of Business. He went on to serve as a graduate assistant and defensive quality control coach under Mark Richt from 2010 to 2014. Today's weather is a chilly one with a high of 33 and a low of 13. With your Extra 106.3 headlines, I'm Bryce Gobert.
I want you to be ready for Saturday, because Saturday's going to be a fun day with your Atlanta Braves. Braves Fest presented by Delta Airlines, taking over Truist Park in the Battery. Braves Fest gets you closer to the team than you could ever imagine. Just a variety of cool events like the Player Walk, player and coach appearances, player autographs, player photos, Braves country karaoke, baseball and softball clinics, Braves bingo. Plan to be there Saturday. Bring the entire family to Truist Park in the Battery for Braves Fest, presented by Delta Airlines. Get all the details for your free Braves tickets, Braves Fest tickets now. Braves.com/BravesFest. Braves.com/BravesFest. Those things are always fun and always exciting to go. You get to see some of those players that you loved for so many years. Maybe even get a picture and an autograph. Can't ever tell. But it will be a big day Saturday here at the Battery Atlanta and Truist Park for you Braves fans. I think we are, what did I look up yesterday? I think it's 20 plus days. I think they start on the 21st.
March 27th. Pretty sure it's March 27th.
You talking about opening day?
No, just spring training.
Spring training. March 27th?
No, sorry. I think
February
opening
21st.
Day. Opening day is March 27th.
February 21st is the first day of spring training. They will play the Tampa Bay Rays. But I think we're just a little over 20 days until that happens on the 21st. So fun time to be a part of Braves country. We had a dear friend, Los, call in. David, he's a trucker from Kennesaw, and he just came back up from Florida. He said it's 77 degrees down there. And he was wondering why the federal government isn't following the money, because we brought up the Data Republicans information about 4,000 different organizations that are funding these communist riots in Minneapolis, and he's wondering why a guy that lives in Bedford, New York, hasn't been deported in George Soros. I don't know the answer, but I know how he feels, because sometimes I wonder that same thing. Why don't we just kick these people out? They don't belong in our country. Get them out of here.
Well, you got to wonder, because some of this stuff, obviously all of it going through NGOs, and here's in a lot of cases what it is, because I was reading through some of 0 Hour's work, and it was pointing out how there's a charitable organization that you'll donate to that then happens to take their money and donate it to another organization, and then that money donates it to another organization. By the time it's been cleaned, now that's how it shows up on the streets in the form of bricks or signs and stuff like that. And so I think a lot of it is just being able to figure out what the money trail is and find out how much and where it's going and how it's being used, which if a couple of people that are pretty good online sleuths can figure it out, you would hope that Pam Bondi, the in-action figure, and the rest of them could figure it out.
Gosh, I hope so. I'm just so tired.
I'm going to send a strongly worded letter.
I know. I'm so tired of seeing that happen in Minneapolis. I'm so sick of it, dude. I'm just at my wit's end with it all. I've had enough, and I think most people feel that way. We brought up Chipper Jones last night, and the fact that this is a Hall of Fame baseball player. Got life by the horns, living his best life. And he's weary. He said, let's talk, more arrests. He's tired of seeing it. I'm tired of seeing it. We're all sick of it. We want it to come to an end. That is so important to me. It's so important to me that we figure this out and get it done. And it drives me crazy when I hear about these libs that tell you how, what you're seeing in Minneapolis. They're just going after the Gestapo. They're just going after the people that are causing the chaos and in the form of ICE. It's them. It's ICE's problem. It's their fault. And I know better than that. I want to read you this post that was shared by Dr. Robert Malone, and you've quoted him many times, haven't you, Los?
Yeah, very much so. Holds a number of patents on the technology that was used to make the COVID vaccines.
Yeah, and he's talked about that in length and in detail. This he shared. It was a legal immigrant. This story that Dr. Malone shared. A legal immigrant and his wife live in New York City. He says, I'm convinced that libs only care about looking moral, not actually being moral. They scream about ICE and immigrants, but don't actually ever talk to immigrants. This is about the appearance of moral superiority. He said, going back to COVID, me and my wife volunteered during COVID. There wasn't a liberal to be found anywhere. When they volunteered, no Karens around at all. These people are the ones that are posting nonstop about diversity and inclusion and have the coexist stickers on their car. Yet in their real lives, most none know an immigrant. Almost none of those people talk to someone who doesn't look like them or sound like them. It's all a mirage. And he ends it with, the emperor has no clothes. So true. And I told you that I got so sick and tired of liberal women, and that's what it was in my social media feed, that I muted. And these are friends. These are people that I just didn't want to engage with. And you get so frustrated because I want what's happening in Minneapolis to end. I want those communists to be shut down. I want this to be over. And yet these liberal ladies, there were 3 of them, and I just snoozed them for 30 days or muted them so I didn't have to see their ignorance. And that's exactly what that actual legal immigrant, his existence in New York City looks just like mine. Those people don't care anything about immigrants. They want to tell you how much they care, so they say it out loud. They say it really, really loud, Los. But when you hear people talking loud, look at their actions. And if their actions don't back it up, you know what you have. And that's exactly what I saw, and that's exactly what I muted on social media.
It's always going to be, here, I put out a hashtag, I care more than you. I ended up responding back to this one. She was kind of telling me about the empathy for fellow human beings and everything else, right? And I basically let her know. I said, you are under the illusion that the left cares about people. They care about votes and power. Communism is a culture of death, uncaring about the individual. Now, once that hit, I'm sure she had to think to herself for a minute of like, wait a minute, but I do care about people because I say so. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You're actually partaking in an entire ideology that is all about getting rid of individualism and caring about people. That's the core of it. So as much as I enjoy that Robert Malone points out, it's like, listen, it's all for show. It's like, yeah, because in real life, they have no interest in the individual. It's just, are you on my side? Are you voting my way? Okay, then I care for you.
Yeah, that's it. You're a political pawn. You're nothing more than a chess piece. And that's what they look at you as. That's what Tim Walz looks at you as. That's what Jacob Fry looks at you as. That's what the AG in Minnesota looks at you as.
You know who are the only people that cared about Alex Preddy, even with his 10 holes in his body?
His parents. That's it.
Only ones.
The only ones.
Only ones that were like, stay out of this stuff, son.
Yeah.
Like, this is a problem.
Don't
They're
engage.
the only people that cared.
Yeah. Don't engage. Don't do anything stupid. Unfortunately, because you have so many people that are willing, like the governor of Minnesota, so many people willing to say, put your body on the line. Put your life on the line. We're fighting communists. We're fighting Nazis. We're fighting fascists. We're fighting the worst of the worst. You have to do what I need you to do, because otherwise we're going to lose America. Lose America. Doing what you're doing is the whole point, is to lose America. They want America to fall. They've talked about it for years, and now they see this one glimmer of hope, this opportunity to get it done, and they will use you up. They didn't care about you. Los is exactly right. The only people that cared about Alex is his mom and daddy when they told him, don't take your gun, don't engage.
Don't engage with this. This is not going to end well for you. And to think about it, too.
He did both.
Every person that took out their phone and did as they were trained to do, I recorded it. Yeah, you didn't help him. Don't act like you suddenly cared. Like we now have our own martyr. No, you really don't. It's like what you have is what always happens with communists. There happens to be a dead useful idiot on the ground, and the other useful idiots go about their business and go right back to being useful idiots. You would hope that somebody there on the ground who got a video of that think to themselves, maybe I shouldn't be doing this stuff anymore.
Yeah. Well, there's such an organization behind it that the useful idiots get wrapped up. They want you to get emotionally involved. That way you carry out the orders that have been given out on the Signal chat.
I guarantee you, Tug, the ones that are compensated, I'm guaranteeing those are the ones that sit over there on the sidelines and do the videotaping. They might yell something here and there, but they don't want to get involved. It's the real morons that are like, I'm going to play revolutionary.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's how you end up with your head looking like a canoe in Renee Good, or 10 holes in your body like Alex Preddy.
Let's go by the numbers on Extra 106.3.
But I'll be all right. as long as there's light from a math tube. Most people don't like math, they run.
All right, two pieces of information here. So, oftentimes when we talk about Lindsey Graham, we refer to Lindsey Graham as Lady Graham.
Yes, we do.
In part, and we've always said it, it's frustrating when Donald Trump aligns with Lady Graham because we're like, that. Lady Graham is pure establishment. Lady Graham hasn't met a scenario where dropping a bomb on it won't fix it. Lady Graham is what is absolutely 100% wrong with the GOP. The Lady Grahams and the John Cornyn's, those are the sort of people you're like, geez, how do we keep electing these sorts of people? Well, there is something to consider here. Now, went through some of the Rasmussen numbers in terms of illegal immigrants who commit crimes in America. Should they be deported? Information as of this weekend, all voters, 79%. Conservatives, 87% say yes. Moderates, 80% say yes. Liberal voters, 62% say they should be deported. How about Democrats in general? 69% say if you commit a crime here, you should be deported if you're not supposed to be here. Independents at 76%, GOP at 90%. The craziest thing happened over the weekend with this shooting. Lady Graham came out of her hole over there in South Carolina, spoke with the Trump White House. This is according to Lady Graham's own tweet, and pointed out something that I never thought I would have seen. Lindsey Graham said, next week I will be introducing a bill that will accomplish that goal. Well, what's that goal? Getting rid of major causes of fraud and illegal immigration in the United States. Sanctuary city policies. Going after and making sanctuary cities illegal. Now, why is this such a big deal? Because Lady Graham don't move if it's just the conservatives. In fact, I don't think Lady Graham cares one bit about the conservatives.
Right.
Lady Graham looks for, hey, is this popular within the GOP? Okay, that's going to be good. Do I also get the other people to go along with me? Okay, I'll look good. I'll look like I'm reaching across the aisle. It takes this sort of scenario, and obviously Donald Trump having his relationship with Lindsey Graham, to get Lindsey Graham to move on major legislation that will help the United States. Goodness. And in this case, that's how popular the numbers are. That's why Lindsey Graham is actually moving.
Crazy to think that it took something as devastating as what's happening as far as the country goes, and just the look of it all and how terrible it is, and people realizing that it's terrible, and the polling pointing to nobody agrees with it. And Lindsey Graham says, well, the wind's blowing that way, I'm in. Not because I really care.
How about I do something about it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we'll do. If we can bomb somebody on the way out, that'd be good.
That's right. Absolutely. Maybe we'll just bomb the people in Minneapolis. I don't know. Have we ever bombed ourselves before? Can you hear him saying that? Because I could.
He points out we can never have a rational immigration system, which I'm sure is what's been promised, in America as long as sanctuary city policies exist.
Yeah, that's the truth. He's not wrong about this. Unfortunately, it takes something politically beneficial for him to jump on board, but he's not wrong.
This is why Donald Trump keeps Lindsey Graham in the pocket.
Yep.
When you need something big, and if it'll get the establishment GOP to go along with it, this is when you execute it.
Morning Xtra and Extra 1063. So glad that you're here. So glad. I say this often, and maybe too often, but I just appreciate the fact that you care about the country the way that we do. You care about your home and the place you live the way that we do. Thank you for that. Appreciate you being here. 404-741-1230 at Extra 1063 across the social media platforms. Oh, the weather outside is frightful. It's been a fun one. We'll talk about that as we wrap up the show. The Morning Extra on Extra 1063.
Extra 1063 Sports, powered by 680 The Fan.
Good morning. Here are your sports headlines for Monday, January 26th. From the NFL, the Super Bowl is now set as the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks will match up in nearly 2 weeks. The Patriots beat the Broncos in Denver 10-7 to take the AFC crown in a driving blizzard. The Seahawks, they outlasted the Rams in Seattle 31-27, including a fourth quarter goal line stand to win the NFC Championship. From the NBA, the Atlanta Hawks are in action today as the game time for tonight's matchup with the visiting Indiana Pacers has been moved up due to ice storms and inclement weather in the area. The new tip-off time is this afternoon and is set for 1:30. With your sports headlines, I'm Carlos Medina.
You're setting a lot of goals for 2026, big plans, new adventures, and Subaru of Gwinnett has the vehicles to get you there. The 2026 Subaru Forester is the same reliable SUV that's earned the trust of drivers for decades, but with more adventurous style and more advanced safety technology. And you'll love exploring in the 2026 Subaru Crosstrek. It gives you up to 34 miles per gallon and the power of a 182 horsepower Subaru Boxer engine, adding plenty of go to your adventures. The 2026 Subaru Outback shares your adventurous spirit. With up to 32 miles per gallon and 9.5 inches of ground clearance, you can explore your world with confidence. And the 2026 Subaru Legacy is what happens when we put the best of Subaru into a sedan. A turbocharged 260 horsepower Subaru Boxer engine makes driving a thrill. Love is out there. Find it at Subaru of Gwinnett, Satellite Boulevard in Duluth, or shop online at SubaruofGwinnett.com. Did you know that there are over 34,000 lawyers in the state of Georgia? Yet despite that huge number, Bruce Hagen was recently named by his peers as one of the top 100 lawyers in the state. Do you know who is not among the top 100 lawyers in the state? Some clown standing on top of an 18-wheeler. Those kind of lawyers may make flashy ads, but they're just marketers, not real lawyers. If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need Bruce Hagen, a real lawyer who tries cases and wins. Call Bruce Hagen. He's the real deal for your injury case. Hagen-law.com.
Hi, I'm Chris Lalamia, owner of the Trusted Toolbox. Are home repairs piling up? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Relax. We've got you covered. From drywall dings and leaky faucets to deck repairs and trim replacement, we're your one-stop shop for everything for your home needs. No more juggling multiple contractors. Just call us at the Trusted Toolbox and we'll handle it. Your home deserves the best, and we don't want you breaking your back trying. Call the Trusted Toolbox today at 770-623-3097 or visit us at thetrustedtoolbox.com. The Trusted Toolbox, your one-stop shop for home repairs and more.
Thousands of veterans across Georgia are missing out on the benefits they've earned through their service. The Warrior Alliance is changing that by connecting veterans and their families to life-changing resources and support. Tune into the Warrior Alliance Network, our podcast and radio show dedicated to helping veterans succeed after service. Join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. on 106.3 to hear inspiring veteran stories, discover free programs, and learn about career opportunities available to you. Subscribe to the Warrior Alliance YouTube channel today.
Hey, it's Sean Spicer. You have it all, the family, the house, the good job, but do you have life insurance? If you don't, call SelectQuote. They saved me $12,000 on amazing life insurance over the course of my policy. Their licensed agents shop the top providers to save customers thousands. Over 2 million people have trusted SelectQuote, and I'm one of them.
For over 40 years, SelectQuote has helped millions of customers save 50% or more on term life insurance compared to other life insurance carriers. Plus, with their same-day coverage, no medical exam is required, and you can be covered by the time you hang up the phone. Call SelectQuote today for your free quote in just minutes. Call 1-800-940-7667. That's 1-800-940-7667. Or visit SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-940-7667. SelectQuote.com.
From the latest breaking news to the conservative voices you know and trust, your best new follow on social media is Xtra 1063. We're at XTRA 1063 on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and LinkedIn, and pretty much any social media you scroll through every day. And we drop exclusive giveaways, new daily content, and the latest breaking news from Georgia and across this great nation. Interact with your favorite Xtra personalities. Get the latest on our live events and so much more. Follow at Xtra 1063 across all your social media and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
Boy, howdy, it's been a wild morning. It's been a wild day, wild weekend. Obviously, with the craziness going on in Minnesota that has to come to an end at some point. But more locally, just being at home, kind of hunkering down for the weekend. That I'll admit, it was a little bit fun. There's that little bit of, me and my wife, we're building fire together, and you ain't gonna believe this. We cooked hot dogs over our fireplace Just two. We just wanted to do it, and we did.
Gross.
What?
I said, first off, y'all are gross.
I know, for eating hot dogs. I know. But it was like we bought hot dogs because they would be easy to cook, in case we lost power or whatever. And so we're like, well, we got a fire going. Let's just cook it. Let's just do it. And we did. And so there was we tried to make it as fun as we could because we didn't get out of the house Saturday or Sunday. We stayed at home both days. Friday night went out, had a good time, knowing that the crazy weather was coming in. But then we got all gross and cooked hot dogs over an open flame.
We actually, and this was the strange part Saturday morning. We get up, and my wife and I, we're both kind of early risers. And so initially, it's like 5:45 in the morning. I'm like, I got to get back to bed. I was like, I can't get up this early. Make it to like 6:45. I go and I just take a shower because at that point, I'm like, we still have energy. We still have the possibility of heat. I'm gonna do this now.
Yep.
She does about the same thing. We then start looking at each other. We're like, what do you want to do? We actually have a weekend where there's absolutely nothing we have to do. So we just were kind of like, okay, I guess let's have some breakfast. We have some breakfast. We're looking around like, well, the kids have eaten. Well, what do you want to do now? I don't know. Is there any games on? No. Okay. I watched, let's see. I've now been through 5 episodes of Ken Burns' American Revolution.
Okay.
I got one more to go.
Right.
Which, by the way, they're all basically about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Mm-hmm. So I'm 10 hours deep into this thing.
Does his politics continue to shine through? Do you have to fact check the whole time?
No. I mean, it starts off with just acknowledging that there are a multitude of players in this game, and basically saying, hey, listen, your Indian population was flipping back and forth to both sides, just like the slave population was doing. And so there's a lot of that sort of stuff that's going on during all 10 hours that I've been through thus far. But outside of that, it's been generally enjoyable.
Okay, good.
And then, once we got around to Sunday, just trying to figure out what to do then, because at that point the weather had really hit. Now we were totally trapped indoors.
Yeah, there you go. For us, it was never too bad. We did get a little bit of icy rain that came down, and I thought that was going to make it really difficult to get out of the neighborhood this morning. But the wind gust really dried all that up, and from Alpharetta down to here at the Battery Atlanta, I had no issues this morning, which I was very thankful for.
Except your truck being blown around like it was a sail.
Yeah, right. There was a little bit of that. But I tell you what was even worse, trying to get the ice off the windshield. It took me a good hour. The truck ran for about 40 minutes before you could even get to the point where the defroster would have softened the ice at all. And then it was kind of just in the middle, where the vents actually hit the windshield on the inside, warming that up. And so then you had to go with the ice scraper all around. I made 3 trips outside just to get the ice off my windshield. That was the toughest part of my morning. And let me tell you, that part sucks.
All right, let me ask you this. So you have your truck outside.
Yeah, I pulled it up at the top of the hill because our driveway's steep. I put it up at the top of the hill knowing that I wasn't going to be able, or thinking that I wasn't going to be able to get out of the driveway.
Okay, because I called you to tell you what my wife told me.
Hey, should we get some gas?
Do you want to leave a car outside? I was like, no. In fact, and there was a story I saw, and I don't remember if it was local Fox 5 or if it was a national, but there was a moment that made me think of you over the weekend. It had this warning about people who had left their EVs outside.
Oh, wow. Yeah, those things don't function well.
Right. How it actually causes an issue where the battery life goes way down and it might not crank, it might not start. Now, it did say, hey, some of them that are more recent, they have some sort of power-saving, fuel warmth sort of deal. But all I could think of was, imagine Tug as he's walking up to his EV that he hates, that he got as a rental, and now it won't crank because he's out in the middle of 20-degree weather.
Dang
and
it!
He really hates that thing.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. that would have been awful. But the old pickup truck, I knew it would be good shape, to be at the top of the driveway so I could make sure I could get out if I had the opportunity. But that scraping ice, man, that's for the birds.
Do you want to know? All right, I'm taking a look at it right now, Tug. Highs on Saturday and Sunday, 28 and 33. That's for this up. Now, right now, it doesn't have a serious amount of precipitation. It's like 20%. But if it gets cranked up again,
please don't say it.
I don't need another. Okay, one weekend out of a winter, fine. I don't need another weekend of filling water bottles and when the lights flicker, I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm going to lose it. Yeah, I don't need any of that.
Yeah, we were lucky. We didn't even have a flicker of the lights. I think we're in. We were in just a bit better shape than you because you're how many miles north of us? 15 miles north of us?
Probably about 15 miles north. In fact, so I went outside. I was taking the dog out. And it's a little creepy when you hear the wind blowing through the trees and you can hear the trees cracking from the ice.
Yes. Now that woke me up overnight.
Yeah.
That woke me up. I heard 2 or 3 different, and there's some big branches down in our yard. I could hear them cracking, and it woke me up. It was so loud through into the house. It woke me up like an alarm or something. There's a big one down to the right, and then there's a decent-sized one that fell on top of fell on the hood of my wife's car. I had to get that thing off of there.
Oh man!
Yeah, it did, but because there was so much ice on her hood, it didn't even scratch it. It didn't because it couldn't get past the ice. But that's what we've been dealing with. Have the kids had a fun time? Have they been able to enjoy any of it?
They haven't even. I mean, it's been all ice. They haven't gone outside in it. It wasn't like it was. Hey, here's some snow with some ice, and you can go play on it. We had no snow.
Yeah,
it was all just sleet. And in fact, it woke me up. This would have been into Sunday morning. It was Sunday morning at like 3 or 3:30 in the morning. I started hearing what sounded like a typewriter on the window, and that was the ice pellets that were hitting against the window.
Goodness.
It was like
goodness
I
gracious.
just hear it the whole time.
Yeah.
I was like, "What?" Like that's when I knew. All right, it's here. It's coming in,
dude. Yeah, it was no good. I'm not cut out for it. I don't like it, and the fact that there's a possibility of next week. There's a possibility of that coming in. No, thank you. And I know you're right. We should be thankful. We only have to deal with it one weekend, maybe 2 weekends. People in other places around the country dealing with it all the time. No, I should have been born on the equator, man.
Well,
that's where I belong.
When they make fun of us for what happens in the South, like, can't believe you all lose your minds. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. That's part of it. We generally we get to play golf in like 2 weeks. Okay?
Yep.
Like the rest of the country has to wait till like April.
Yeah. Well, some people get to play golf. I suck at golf, so I could ride around on the golf cart.
Well, it's available to you.
It is available.
If you wanted to play, you could play in 2 weeks, whereas the rest of the country that deals with this stuff all the time, they're like, "What's wrong with you guys?" I'm like, "What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Why don't you move south, fool?"
Yeah. Actually, no, don't. We're full up. There's no availability.
Filled up.
There's no room at the inn. Sorry, y'all.
There's one house for sale in my neighborhood. I think it's under contract. Sorry, nobody around.
Hey, it's funny you say that. The one across the street from us. It's terrible. And the fact that it was a divorce, but they turned it around quick, and it's already been sold. We don't have any idea who our new neighbors are. We're hoping it's somebody good and decent and won't cut our tires or protest. Here's our fingers crossed.
Maybe they can handle the snow better than everybody else.
That's right.
Can help out.
Oh, Lord. All right, Los, we'll holler at you tomorrow. Appreciate y'all being here to check out the Morning Extra. Stick around for the Glenn Beck program, Clay Travis and Buck Sexton. And then the local afternoon show with the one and only, the Marine, the Kimmer, from 3 until 6 for Los and Big Boy Bryce. My name is Tug. Y'all come back now, you hear?
Did you miss Neil Bortz?
I am shocked.
Don't worry. He's live anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Oh, that radio show.
Did traffic cause you to miss some of the Kimmer Show? Get it on the app.
It's all the kids talk about on Monday at school.
With anytime show replays from the Kimmer, Bortz, the Morning Extra, Clay and Buck, and so much more. Plus local headlines and breaking news. Grab the Extra 106.3 app now and start streaming.
Join Daniel Madelon, CEO
CEO of A Second Chance Bail Bonds, and co-host Tug Cowart as they bring together law enforcement, justice insiders, and voices from every part of the justice system, victims, advocates, and people who've turned their lives around. It's not PR, it's not fluff. It's an honest talk about what's working, what's broken, and how to build a better path forward, one second chance at a time. This week's guests are COO of A Second Chance, Ryan Madelon, and Director of Operations for A Second